So I hate to start the pod on some really bad news, but sometimes it's a necessity because bad things happen in this world.
More often than not. Actually.
Sit close to that fucking thing. What are you doing? By the way, I got Angry Gary here. It's been a long time.
I didn't know we were on.
And Chris Pinkerton, if you're nasty, has
Hey,
returned.
I'm still on the show, guys.
We got 2/3 of the show back.
It's the best we've had in weeks, right?
Yeah, and I think 363 we should have everybody. I'm hoping.
Oh man, can't wait.
That being said, though, the Choco Taco is being put to rest.
How do I say goodbye?
Have you heard this, Gary?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean,
Well, let's.
Why?
because it's delicious. I mean,
Okay, but cards on the table. When's the last time you?
It's been a long time.
When's the last time you had one, Gary?
It's been a long time, but I like knowing it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the problem. Like, I love a lot of stuff that I like to get occasionally, but that doesn't necessarily make me buying enough to justify it.
But like they, to be fair, I'm hoping it goes the Twinkies route where they said they were getting rid of that.
Oh, it's just a marketing ploy.
Yeah,
and they're going to bring it back like a quarter of the size.
Yeah, like
you got to get like 5 of them to give one.
Yeah, like Choco Street Taco.
right, yeah.
3 of them in a pack.
And I
You got to
didn't
build it.
I didn't realize that Taco Bell still sold
No, the
them.
nuts are in a different package. You got to open them up and sprinkle them on.
That's a DLC. You have to buy the nuts.
And it's got a fucking radish on top for some reason. Let's talk about that for a minute. Look, I respect people's cultures, of course, and where the stuff comes from. But like, I had an authentic Mexican street taco for the first time in my life, probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Right?
I remember hearing all about it.
This fucking thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this isn't a fucking meal. This is like scraps from somebody else's meal that somebody threw together to try to make something out of. It was like a piece of.
I think that's what tacos started out as, to be honest.
It was a piece of fucking salami. It was like a lettuce looking thing on the bottom. You know, there's a corn tortilla, which is trash also, by the way. And compared to a flour tortilla, get them out of here.
Really?
Pack them up and get them out of here.
That's
Yeah,
the corn.
They both have their place.
I have no use for them.
Okay.
So you really don't respect people's cultures. You just.
Well, I hope there's more.
When it's convenient for Bobby, he will respect it.
Their bullshit sucks.
I hope there's more to it than just the tortilla.
Well, it's the base of everything. I mean, the whole
Well, the corn tortilla. Yeah. I look at it in chip form. The corn tortilla in chip form. So then there's like a couple pieces of chicken on it, and it's seasoned, well. Mm-hmm. I'll give them that, right? And then on top of that, it's like they hired a fucking dump truck to go scoop up the biggest horde of fucking onion pieces they could find and just pack it into this fucking styrofoam box the best they can, and then they sprinkle a couple fucking radishes on top.
That's sounds very authentic from my experience.
And I was like, what?
Is it? I wouldn't know.
I love a taco truck.
I can't get this out of here fast
I'll
enough.
wreck my car to get to a taco truck.
I went to another authentic spot within the same year because now I'm like, okay, now I want to partake. Now I want to try. I want to become a bit of a connoisseur. Correct. So, and I want to give shit a fair shake. You know, I could have had a bad experience here. You go someplace else. It's a better experience. Sure. You know, I ordered this thing, right? Gamez was there. DJ was there, a couple guys, right? So we go to this thing. He actually knows DJ too, which is interesting because he ordered short shirts from him one time.
Nice.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, hey, Bobby, that motherfucker, man. If he didn't live so far away, I'd love to have him out. But he, so we all go.
Good one.
Yeah, I looked at this fucking menu, right? It's got a billion things on it, and they all look relatively the same. There's a tortilla.
All Mexican food is the same. It's just packaged differently.
Now who's not respecting people's cultures?
You know, I have Mexican in me, so I can say that. But it's all
Tex-Mex, what we eat, it's the same 5 ingredients.
Yeah, and they're always the same side: rice and beans, or pico de gallo.
Right. So I took this, right? I took it, and I made a choice that looked like something I would like. I couldn't tell you who. Let me call Gamez. Let me call Gamez if Gamez remembers.
Hopefully Gamez didn't lead you astray.
Call Gamez. Let's see. All right.
You could literally go to a Mexican restaurant and be like, surprise me. And you're going to get the same ingredients, just in a weird, different.
Put the headphones on for just a second.
Hello?
Gomez, K-Pasa, you're on Nerd Rage Radio. I got a question for you.
All
Did
right.
you just K-Pasa him?
Yeah, I'm trying to respect people's cultures, man. Listen, that shit. Remember that meal that I got at that Mexican restaurant that one time?
The one you threw away?
All right, good. Don't spoil the punchline. Do you remember? Do you remember what it was?
Like what you got specifically?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't you just get tacos? I mean,
Nah, it was something. I never had before. It was a little different.
I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head.
All right, man. Well, if it comes to you, to give me a text.
All right, we'll do.
All right, buddy.
Yep.
Did they have ketchup?
I can't remember. You know what's funny? I'm not a big ketchup on my Mexican food guy.
I'm not either.
Is anyone?
Well, I use ketchup. I use ketchup a lot. People say, right?
All right.
That's a safety blanket.
That's shocking.
And I take all the judgment, and it's fine, right? I give it to me. It's okay. I order my steak. I get a little ketchup. I order fries. I throw them away. I dip my steak in the ketchup.
Did I ever make you food that you try to season without tasting?
I don't think so, but I think you've only cooked for me once.
Because usually I'll be like, "What are you doing?" Yeah,
Yeah. Well, but I happen to know you're a good cook, though, so I would give it a shot without prior anyway.
Appreciate it.
But I say that to say this. I ordered this thing that sounded good to me. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I didn't finish the ketchup. Laura puts ketchup on her fajitas. She's so quick to throw judgment my way.
That's very strange.
But like, oh, look how the turntables have turned.
Yeah, it's probably good, but
And I don't say a word about it. I just let her live her life. You know what I mean?
salsa.
Anyway, so I order this thing. It comes to me. I sit down. It's like 6 of us sitting there, right? All together, hanging out, buying some food. I take one bite. I close the styrofoam lid. I get up and I put it right directly into the trash can, and that was it for me for that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a power move. Like, is that? Are you making more of a statement right there? Like,
Yeah, I think so.
Because I'm the type of guy like I paid for it. I'm eating it, no matter how bad this is.
So you know what is it was definitely a statement, and I got to work on that a little bit. I had a situation just yesterday that like. Because I'm working on me.
I hear you. I make statements sometimes like, that was a dumb one. I really showed me.
So I have a temper, and it has been a problem for me since I was a kid, certainly in the middle and high school, and then a bit into my 20s. And then in my 30s, I've started to kind of try to wrangle it in. And sometimes I'm better at it than others.
You said 30s as if you're still in your 30s.
Well, that's that. It was to be fair.
You're the 11th year of your 30s, bro.
Oh yeah. To be fair.
Thank you very much, Miss Libby.
Try to make everybody feel comfortable.
To be fair, it was more about how I am continue to wrangle.
I understand.
So in my 40s, I'm really trying hard. Like, I'm trying, Ringo. I'm trying real hard.
Yeah.
So I'm with a group of guys, right? And we're going to get pizza. And I'm very flexible when it comes to pizza. I have my favorite pizza place that we order from when we're hanging out together. Mm-hmm. But I'm flexible. There's only one pizza place I won't eat at. Lido's.
I was going to say, I know.
Okay.
I've never actually had I still haven't had it.
Well,
it's like the White Castle version of pizza. They make them really small. So go ahead.
Yeah, so like here's the thing. I think that like there's great pizza, there's good pizza, there's like pizzas on a scale, and
it's hard to fuck up.
It's hard to fuck up, and even bad pizza can hit the spot. I'll fuck up a Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
What movie was that? The Ethan Hawke movie was like pizza's like sex. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. The only pizza I cannot consume is Lido's. It's the sauce is just too fucking sweet. It just turns me off to the whole venture, right? It's the only one. And where we were hanging out, there's like 3 pizza places that are close to us that we're supposed to be using due to our delivery location, you might say. I'm in for all of them. None of them are my favorite, but I'm in for all of them. I'm down to go to the grocery store and get some frozen ones.
Tombstone, buddy.
My standards. It's not like it's not like I'm bougie about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They order fucking Lido's, and then they're like, and then we'll swing by your spot and you can get something too. And I'm like, man, like, and I'm trying to keep, and I'm trying, but like I have this pheromone thing with me where like when I'm upset, it's like visibly obvious.
Yeah, I can't hide it.
To
Everybody must pay when I'm fucking angry. You know, you're coming down with me. It's so fucking pathetic. But it's just so fucking selfish. I should say, I'm fucking mad and I'm ruining everything.
And
everybody's
I
doing.
don't know how to deal with it.
Right
now, like in my head, I'm like, look at me. I'm not fucking yelling at anybody. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm being the bigger man here.
You're just destroying the mood of the
just
whole
destroying
fucking.
the mood.
I've seen this in action.
Because I am I am the mood stabilizer to places. Like if I come into the room and I'm in a good space, I'm going to get everybody in a good space. But if I'm in a room in a bad space, even if I don't say anything,
you don't mean to.
I don't mean to.
My father always said the same things. Like you have the ability to elevate a room or bring it down into fucking whatever, and it's a tough responsibility.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So I'm doing my best. I'm trying to laugh at the fucking jokes. I'm trying. I'm trying to realize. I'm really giving this fucking thing my all,
Authentic.
And then they were like, well, what are you gonna eat? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'll we're going to somebody's house. I was like,
it's cool that I could go with 3 fucking places and you pick the one thing that I fucking can't eat. Exactly. And I'm fine with that. That's not a dick move at all.
I would never do it to you.
Exactly. But we're cool.
You do whichever you feel is appropriate.
Right.
So like, I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll make myself a peanut butter and but it's the same thing. I was like, don't worry about it. I'll make it a peanut butter and honey when I get back to the house. I'll make a peanut butter and honey. I'm good with that. Like, and they're like, oh, we can't have that. We'll take you to the grocery store. You can get a oven baked pizza.
Let's just sidetrack this night for an extra hour and a half because we could have done a one-stop shop and everyone could have been back. But
it's just like now, not only did you choose the place where I don't want to eat, now you want to choose what I do want to eat. Like and then it becomes like a thing, and then they're like, it's like a poking the bear kind of thing, and I'm trying to be a good sport, you know what I mean? But I'm inside, I'm like, I'm fucking raging. Yes.
Well, they realize what they've done, and now they have to put that genie. Like we fucked up the mood stabilizer.
I don't know if they realize how bad it can go.
Yeah, by trying to fix it.
Yeah,
just let it go.
Just let it go. I've already come to terms with it. I'm dealing with it in my own way.
Now you're making your thing, and there's a lot of attention coming my way, and it's annoying me.
Nothing's gonna fuck you better than me than karma. But like anyway, it's just something that I've noticed, and it is something that I'm working on. You know what I mean? I'm trying to come to terms with. But I don't know how best to do it. Like it's like a tool that I don't have, and I'm trying to develop it, but I'm not good at it. Not good at it at all. Even yesterday when I was trying to laugh and what did I even said something? I was like, they were like, and he's probably upset. I was like, oh, it's foul. It's super foul. And I'm letting you know, but I'm not like, fuck you guys, which is what I want to say.
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did they have a coupon or something?
No, absolutely not. What's funny is they were going to go to the spot that I prefer. And then I was hanging with DJ. DJ was like, well, I want to get Litos. And then like, well, I could go for, because most people are flexible, right?
Right.
But DJ's not flexible and I'm not flexible. So
there it is.
The difference is that like DJ, like I have my favorite and then I have my will not. And then everything else I can accept. DJ has his only in his will not.
He's a Litos guy?
Only.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. I just don't.
He's from fucking Cleveland or some shit. Like I don't know how they. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole new different ball game out there from what I get.
Because when it comes to food, like you're kind of spectrumish. Like you have, I know you like well enough. Like and I respect. You know what I mean? With textures and shit like that, where it's like you were gonna have to work around this. And so like me, I have other things that I'm like that with. Right. But like food, I would be like, all right, I could eat pretty much anything. You know what I mean? Whatever. So let's deal with the guy who is going to start hitting himself in the head. You know what I mean? And fucking, and
let's make sure that he can at least sit at the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean?
I get a bad rep, but it's not as like I have I'm particular. I know I'm particular. But I am more flexible than people think.
Okay.
I just have my there's a couple Litos, I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to fucking do it. I would rather get a fucking paper cut on my eyelid. Like I'm not interested.
God, that's rough.
Meatloaf, I won't even be in the same room as.
It's just a hamburger.
Listen to me, Mom.
I had some fucked up.
That's the thing right there.
I'm having mom flashbacks.
All right.
Like, it's not a hamburger.
Vomit on your sweater already. I get it.
It's not. It's not a hamburger. If it was a hamburger, people would just eat the hamburger. It is a different thing. It's like it's mixed with egg, and it's like it's a meat cake. It's a meat cake.
Kind of, yeah.
And I'm not interested.
Actually, it's a
loaf.
meat
cake.
No, I want a real cake. If we're gonna have cake, I want to, or maybe an ice cream cake. But I don't want a meat cake.
I love meatloaf.
So but it's like kryptonite for me. Like, I can't even be in the same room, and my fucking knees start getting weak and shit. Like, I start getting nauseous. You know, I can't. So, like, that's the only one that I'm like, because there's other things I don't like. I don't like beans. I don't like shit like that. But like, it doesn't bother me. You can have some sitting right next to me. It's
Thank you, Bob.
You know,
But
like,
that's it.
Aren't I a good king?
Yes. But that type of personality, I feel like I said before, I kind of share that trait, which isn't sometimes, and you feel the responsibility, like I'm really fucking up this night because I'm in a shitty fucking mood, and then you try to do something fake, like whatever, and it just doesn't fly.
It doesn't work.
But there is a certain level that I think people should appreciate, like you're genuine. Like, I'm fucking mad, and you know what I mean. That's why I suck at poker. I'm like, shit. Let alone I can't count cards. I'm like fucking out in 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
No, I'm the same way.
But you'll never have to wonder where my fucking mood is
That's
at.
it, though.
And I think people should appreciate that.
I agree.
It
reminds me of my wife said it all the time, right? Like, you remember the dirty cop in Sopranos that Tony did business with?
Yep.
So he's
the one who jumped off the bridge.
Eventually, yeah.
That was the guy from fucking he was in a lot of shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was talking to somebody in the show. I can't remember who it was, and he was like, "Oh, I love Tony." And you're like, well, "What? He just treats you like a piece of shit." Like, and he's like, "Yeah, but you always know where you stand with him." Like, that's me. Like, I have to let you know. Yeah, I have to.
Well,
like,
how the hell are they going to fix it? If you don't tell them?
That's right.
But I can't live with the burden of you not understanding how I feel about what you did.
Exactly.
And I don't necessarily like that about myself, but I can't function. I gotta hey man, can I talk to you for a minute?
Yeah.
Because it was like that. You remember in Family Guy when it was like, oh, that's no big deal. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home. He's like, hey man, can I talk to you for a minute? Not cool.
I didn't see that one.
So it's like when Luke says that.
Is there a womp rat person?
Like when Luke says that, you could just sink that fucking shot. And he's like, that's no big deal. Just bullseye womp rats. That T16 back home, and it's like another pilot. Yeah. Like, hey man, can I talk to you for a minute? Takes him aside, and he's like, you think everybody's had that experience? What's easy for you may not be easy for everybody, man. It's not cool.
Right.
My great grandfather was a womp rat.
That's what I thought he was going.
No, it's not that direction.
It's just
like,
he's just showing off, and the other guy doesn't like he's fucking sounding them in front of everybody. It's funny.
So let's move on. But
actually, I really like this topic because I right now, I don't want to be here. I am in the shittiest fucking mood of my life right now.
Why?
I don't want to get into that, but this, what I'm doing, I'm not faking this. I'm in a better mood right now.
Yeah, good.
Okay,
good.
but I'll get in my car and I'm just gonna start fucking white gripping my steering wheel and going back to fucking Angry Land, and it's just
you've been in a place recently.
Yeah.
Because I texted you recently about coming on,
and I'm like, no, you don't want me there right now because
but you always say that anyway. But I was like, how do you feel about this person and this person in case we had to do? And he was like, oh, nobody likes me anyway. It doesn't fucking matter.
No, it's not, and it's not. I can give a fuck if I don't fucking like me. I can give a shit what anyone else thinks. I look in the mirror and I'm like, just punch it. So that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's because I'll do that thing where everyone's trying to have fun. I'm like, fuck your fun. Okay.
What the fuck is there to laugh about right now?
Exactly.
Y'all are a risky fucking party invite, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, we went to school together for a bit, and we were inseparable.
Okay.
Like when you saw one, you saw the other, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and
I'm sure nobody rolled their eyes when y'all walked up, right?
Yeah, and like, but it was like it was a force, like it was a personality force where it was like fucking like. I don't know if Tweedledee and Tweedledum wanted to punch everything and yell and scream at everything and then laugh about it when they got back. But so we clicked kind of almost instantly in that regard.
Kind of say shit without even opening it, like see something happen and look at each other and think the same thing. And then somebody might pick up and like, ah, shit. But it's a burden. Yeah,
it is.
I get it. I get where you're going.
Let me ask you a couple questions. It's hot in here. God damn.
I think it's the conversation.
Yeah, it might be the conversation.
I'm fine. Y'all are just all fucking riled up this morning for some reason.
You got that southern I
Listen, I'm
respect,
still in Alabama mode.
Yeah, I respect and envy people that could fucking mask their emotions, man. I am so fucking jealous of that.
Me too.
I'll see something that I know would probably piss someone else off and be like, nothing? You know, it's like fucking Tony Stark, like poking at the Hulk and like nothing's happening. You're like, how the fuck? I know that made you mad.
Well, it's like, the Joker with, I'm only laughing on the outside. My smile is but skin deep. If you could see me on the inside, I'm really crying. You might join me for a weep. Like, not me.
Yeah,
not
right.
me. You're going to know exactly my feeling about that thing. I'm not good at it.
Me neither.
Let me ask you a couple questions because it's been a while since you've been on here.
And I do respect that people could do that.
What did you see the Batman?
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I thought, so I don't really remember it. If that fucking,
I know why there was probably something in the way.
You know,
That's probably
I didn't want to be there. And, I mean, I did kind of understand his mood a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yeah. No, it was. There were certain things I really liked about it, and there were certain things that I just would. Ask me another question before I go down this rabbit hole or whatever.
No.
Yeah, there were certain things I liked the progression. I liked the way at the end, like it all came together for him. Like when he started fighting on the catwalk, and all of a sudden he's like, "I'm good at shit." And he wasn't that good in the beginning. Like the fight in the subway was okay. He was still tougher than them, but he wasn't. Yeah. He wasn't fucking unstoppable and whatever. And then all of a sudden it was. You either fucking put it all together now or you're going to fucking die. And
you're talking about the gunshot lit one?
Yeah. So, the one where he's on the catwalk at the end. Like right before, where he just starts fucking fighting. Where he's just like, all this training, all this shit, it's either now and all of a sudden he was better than everybody. And
that's an interesting perspective.
That is a good takeaway. I've never thought about that.
That I liked.
That's cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh, look at him. He's fucking like, he almost found, you ever see The Last Dragon?
Oh, of course.
The Golden Glow. Yeah. All of a sudden, the Golden Glow showed up. Yeah, oh my God, greatest fucking movie ever. And fucking, all of a sudden he got the glow, and he was just like, and he just started unleashing because this was literally life or fucking death, and people were at stake, and fucking he became Batman.
Yeah, that's interesting. I had never considered that, but I think you're right about that. I think like I always that scene in general. I agree with your perspective on it, and it does help it for me. But when I watched that the first time, I was like, this is it, huh? This is the climax. It's like there's a Riddler and there's a Catwoman, and then the fucking water's drowning the city, and everything's at stake, and it's just you're gonna fight these 7 guys. Huh? That's the end.
Yeah,
we fight 7 guys and kind of move on with our day.
Because if you think about it, 7 guys is a lot.
I know.
You fucked up 7 guys.
Not for a fucking $100 million film.
I get it, but like if I beat up 7 guys, that is the only fucking story you would hear from now until the day I fucking died. I have the biggest love of my life. Lean in, like I kicked 7 guys' ass once.
That's what you want to do, son.
So I mean, on a catwalk, like you're fucking 150 feet in the air too. So like shit started happening for him, and I like that.
What didn't you like?
What didn't I like? I don't remember as much as I should have, and I always planned on watching it again.
Me too.
What didn't I like? I didn't like the subway scene where they didn't know who the fuck he was. Like the word was out. Like you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like
the opening.
Yeah, okay. Like all of a sudden, like who, like you know who the fuck that is? Like he's the guy everyone's been talking about.
I had a guy that I grew up with that like used to quote Goodfellas all the time, like all the time. Right. The smallest little line.
Okay,
like I got it. He'd be like, what's that from? I'm like, I don't know, but it's from Goodfellas. I'm like, well, it's just probably from 30 fucking movies that year. But like one day I got so annoyed with him, right? Because he did it all the time. And I was like, well, I got one for you. What are you? I'm Batman.
Yeah.
What movie is that from?
Michael Keaton.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
But he started laughing and he was like, man.
Oh, was that rhetorical? I'm sorry. I was
Well, it was me fucking with him.
Oh,
like, just like,
okay. I jumped in.
Yeah,
like, yeah,
so he was like, man, he was like, that motherfucker went out and bought a bat mask, a bat belt, a suit with a bat symbol on it, a bat car, and motherfuckers still don't know who he's supposed to be.
Good point.
Yeah. Is he talking about the new one?
Yeah. Well, I'm just drawing it.
Yeah. All right. So, I didn't like is that it was clear as day who the fuck Batman was. I mean, anyone who was like not paying attention, like fucking Bruce Wayne, the guy's walking around who's always pissed with his fucking hands. You know, I mean, there was no doubt about it. Like, what's up, Bruce? Like, how'd you know?
It's funny. Batman and Bruce Wayne seem especially sad.
Yeah, there was no doubt. Like, there was no hiding the fact that was fucking Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? Like, who's got some money for some shit? And he was fucking. Yeah, he was always around and
kind of lurking.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there was no hiding. You know who the fuck he was.
I think the sequel movie will see kind of more of the playboy Bruce Wayne because he's going to put on airs to hide. I think do a better job of hiding his.
I'm not cool with that. I'm up for more, obviously.
My son had an interesting perspective, and I'm sure you guys have all probably. It's old, but for me, he was like, well, because he is Batman, he's not Bruce Wayne.
Well, that is true.
Yeah. So, but he has
Bruce Wayne should still, but it should still be an act. You know, and I agree with you that Bruce Wayne in this movie isn't much of an act. No. It's just Batman with his mask.
Well, it could be like the same thing with the fighting. Like he hasn't figured that out yet.
Agreed. Which is kind of what you're saying.
And exactly. He even says it. Right. He even says it to Alfred. And he's like something about the accountant's coming by or whatever it is. He's like, because you don't go to the office ever, and he says, I don't care about that.
Right.
So he just doesn't realize
he just hasn't found his footing.
That shit, I've got to finance what I'm doing by pretending to be somebody I'm not. So it's a great takeaway that he's Batman.
Yeah.
And he plays Bruce Wayne.
And he hasn't found Bruce Wayne. Right,
he hasn't found that because he doesn't feel like he should have any joy.
Yeah.
Deep thoughts with Angry Gary on there. That's the second good pull.
So this is the one movie, like not one, but this is one of those movies that could be saved by a sequel. Where you look back and you're like, wow, now I like the other one better.
I agree.
So,
I agree. I agree. 100% agree.
As much as I adore Batman Beyond, I like it a lot more after the Batman Begins. Sorry, not Beyond. Mm-hmm. What is that shit? I know what the future one. I know what it is. I'm just kidding. Batman Begins, having the sequel, behind it, I think makes it so much better of a film.
That was my favorite Batman,
especially after the trilogy, and you understand things a little better.
Yeah, I kind of like. They're starting. A lot of it is the older I get. It used to be easier for me. Mm-hmm. I used to be like, yep, I love Bale, and then Keaton, and then Affleck, and then it all like they go in order 1, 2, 3.
Right. But now there's shades of gray.
Well, the older I get, the more they start to feel like my kids. It's like, man, I love them all. Yeah. Sometimes I kind of favor this one more, and sometimes I kind of favor this one more. Every now and then, that one fucking irritates me. Yeah. But I love them all.
Right, I got you. They all bring a different. They all found a different friggin'
lane.
Yes, and they're all characteristics of Batman, but they all found one to fucking focus on.
I agree.
Like Affleck was really like, I love the games. When he was fighting, it looked like you were playing Arkham Asylum. Yeah. And you're like, this is cool.
Especially in that Batman vs Superman scene.
Yeah.
But he also
in the warehouse with that.
He was also the planner, which I liked. Like he was the Batman with a plan. Like when he realized what the deal was with Superman, he like broke down the Krypton, like kryptonite, like weaponized it, got himself armor, like he was the plan. Yeah, and then even in Snyder Cut, he was like, look, this is how we're going to do it. You run, you touch him, you bring him back. We're going to get him on the side. I'm going to do this part. You're going to do this part.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
I didn't see that one, but that's
my God, dude, you have to. You have to. Like, I'm not fucking with you, man. It's like, it might be the greatest superhero movie ever made, in my opinion.
Seriously?
Yes.
How can a movie like just be so different than the original?
It can be.
I said the same thing the day before it came out. That's why.
It is. Well, I mean, it is. It's almost unrecognizable.
Seriously,
dude, it's a.
I believe you. I mean,
it hurts my heart that like TBS shows those movies and they show that original cut.
It's heartbreaking.
To watch that. It's
like somebody took the fucking, the Da Vinci, the guy, like the diagram of man where he's got his arms up like this and his arms up that. Yeah. It's like Da Vinci drew that, and then Joss Whedon came along and put a clown suit on it.
Okay,
what
happened?
Yeah, it's and I only say that, like, I know people listening to this, some people feel differently and they like kind of the yuck stuff and all that kind of stuff, but like I know where your sensibilities kind of lie with this stuff. Right up your alley.
Yeah,
right up your alley.
Like, I'll check it out. I just got to figure
break it into 2 parts.
I mean, it's not like I do much. I could find time to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, when I'm not just staring at the wall and contemplating everything.
when I'm not breaking the mirror.
Right.
Just stare at the screen and be angry.
The second question I was going to ask you was just to catch people up with you. Well, maybe 3. The second one is, how do you feel about Marvel Phase 4?
I don't even know what that means.
The Spider-Man 3, all the TV shows,
the new Doctor Strange,
Doctor Strange, any of that stuff.
I didn't see the new Doctor Strange. My sons did. They liked it. I was never into Doctor Strange growing up. Like, I used to see Thor on comics. Like, this is just stupid. You know what I mean? Like just a picture of it. It was dumb to me. Doctor Strange. Like even fucking that guy with the fish with the fucking Magneto. Like, this is dumb. Yeah. So I was never, and I'm sure everyone's. I just like lost a lot of people. But
there is truth.
There
to
goes
that.
the Finland audience.
Yeah, like the cape is alive and it does shit like that.
When I was a kid, I thought Doctor Strange was lame. It's only like as I got
older Marvel
stuff.
Yeah,
and I was always interested. That's why I love the movies when they came out. I'm like, all right, I can get a fucking quick Cliff Notes dumbass version, like not dummy down for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And get the basic storyline of this guy. And I saw the first Doctor Strange. I liked it. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? But when I was a kid, it just didn't fucking do anything for me.
No, I can't
Spider-Man
think of any of my friends growing up. I love reading Doctor Strange is my favorite book. I read some X-Men books too, but nobody's like,
nobody.
I never knew anyone who was like, yeah, man, Doctor Strange, that's where it's at.
The only thing I knew about Doctor Strange was that he popped up in Infinity Gauntlet, and I was like, "There's this guy that's here." But
and seems to,
I had the Marvel card with him on it, and I was like, "This is a guy." But I was like, "I'm not fucking with that shit." I mean, for me, when I was that age, it was strictly X-Men and Spider-Man, and that was pretty much it. And then years later, I found kind of Batman and DC, and then was off to the races. And then I started getting back into Marvel, and then started realizing, there's these really serious stories with these sometimes goofy ass looking characters.
Well,
what about Spider-Man 3? With all the different Spider-Man.
I like that.
Yeah,
I did. I liked that a lot. I liked all those movies though.
Right.
And I liked all those Spider-Man characters.
You like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
When it came out,
in its time, it was great. Now,
I didn't like it then.
And my son's a big fan. What'd you say?
It didn't surprise me that he didn't like, because it's Raimi, and Raimi shit is so fucking campy.
Yeah,
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
Yeah, I never got the second one. I liked, but I hated Green Goblin. I hated him. Like, I liked Defoe.
You didn't like the outfit.
I didn't like the outfit,
and that makes
I
don't think they knew how to do it.
Well, probably not.
Well, that's the best they could do at the time. I mean,
I'd rather see the sock mask.
Yeah,
I'd rather see the sock mask than what I got, because it looked like Ultraman. Like, I just couldn't get out of it.
And he was awesome in the third one.
Yeah, he was.
And like, even when he stabbed him, I'm like, this guy's the fucking worst, man. Like, he is fucking rotten. Like, he was like equivalent to the Joker. Like, he was just fucking,
which is what he's supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah. When he stabbed him, like, this fucking guy. You know what I mean? So, I can kind of look past the man, like that outfit, but
costume, outfit, uniform, armor, whatever. You're not wearing fucking slacks and a button up here, buddy. Just call it whatever you want.
Oh, it was like Batman 89. Nice outfit. How hard was that? Dude, the fucking Nicholson was fucking great.
It was great.
And he's like, nice outfit.
He was fucking, he was so awesome. Like, I couldn't find a, and I have my problems with those movies too, because the cast was fucking great. It was just such a wasted opportunity.
But they did that first one. I've talked about this recently, but I've just watched it recently, and it's still fucking great
because it's Nicholson
in his
prime.
You're right.
It's that it's so
But
detached.
the set was kind of cool.
It's so that's it. It's so detached from reality that it never feels old, or it always feels old in the same way that it's always felt old.
It's almost like a dreamland.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I watched a video on YouTube, and it was why did people look so old? Like, if you look at people that were our age when we were kids, they were old.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, I mean, my knees feel like, but like the way I act, the way I dress.
Oh, I know. Well,
But you know what somebody did? They showed Norm from Cheers. Like, when he started on that show, he was like 23.
Really?
Or something crazy like that. Yeah. But you know what they did? They gave him a beard and fucking glasses, and he looked like a hipster dude that would be sitting at a bar. It's just perspective.
Yeah.
They showed this. There was this guy who, he was a teacher. He worked for, like, I don't know, he worked at the same school like his entire fucking career, out of college to retirement, and he wore the same outfit the entire fucking time.
Nice outfit.
And it goes from him being this hip guy with the butterfly collar to the old man with the butterfly collar.
Right.
So it's all just,
You
I don't
gotta
know.
evolve.
Plus, we probably eat a lot better and don't all smoke like freight trains.
Yeah,
and-
that's too.
Well, that's the thing. You ever see, like,
Take
my
vitamins.
grandmother would show me a picture of herself when she was young. You know, I'm like, you look exactly the same. As soon as they got married, the Italians, they threw a house dress on him, and that was it. Like, you don't show anything.
End of story.
End of story. You know what I mean?
Put a period at the end of that sentence.
Yeah. They're at the beach with a fucking long black dress and a cap on.
Like, who did Jaws eat at the fucking beach?
That was revolutionary to wear that outside, right?
Yeah.
But, there's so many lines of, like, just like I love, like, obviously Jack Nicholson, like, Joker's, when he was Jack Napier's girlfriend, ended up fucking the crime boss.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, they had him killed. And then but he becomes the Joker, and he comes back. He kills Grisham. He comes back, and, like, his girlfriend, Grisham's, like, mistress, whatever, like, comes back with, like, the shopping bags and stuff, and sees him as soon as she walks in. And he's like, "Honey, you'll never believe what happened to me today." She fucking faints, and he's like, He's
Damn it, I'm gonna have to watch that tonight now.
And then my other favorite, one more, and then we can move on, is when Vicky Vale's like, "You're insane." He's like, "I thought I was a Pisces." He has that randomness of the Joker that I don't think any of them actually have captured since.
Where does he get those wonderful toys? And you see them steal some of that shit, like the freaking Heath Ledger scene when Bale falls down at the motorcycle and he's walking out, and when he's driving the motorcycle. Same scene with Batman flying the plane. Same when he pulls out the giant. It just keeps same fucking scene. Or when he shows up at the party for Dent, it's like the same shit when he crashes that fucking art museum.
That scene, real quick, I love.
Interesting choice of words.
Very poor choice.
Very poor choice of words. Yeah. That was amazing.
When those elevator doors open, he pushes that cop into the party, takes a shotgun, shoots the ceiling, and he's like, "We made it."
Hey, did you know that?
Fucking perfect.
Like, almost no one in that room when he does that had seen him yet in the makeup.
Oh, is that right?
That was true horror on their faces. I think, like, the key actors probably knew it was good, but, like, all the extras that were there for the party, they had no idea.
Concept of them.
Could you imagine getting casting for that and not even knowing what kind of movie it was? Just, all right, when the villain comes in, you want to react like you're horrified, and and just thinking it's going to be like some fucking bad guy from Die Hard 7 or some shit, and it's a fucking Joker.
Yeah,
and
he was imposing. He was all 6'4", whatever.
He's a big guy.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
He's the only Joker that's ever made me uncomfortable. That's not true, because to be fair,
Leto's off-putting.
Leto made me uncomfortable too a couple times.
All that
he was, like you said, he was
gonna
fucking
get you hurt.
Well, that part where he straddles that security guard. Like, it's just like, that's also that, like, what is he, that, like, that's what makes him scary,
kill him?
right?
Is he going to kiss him?
Or is he going to fuck him?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like, he just don't
And the
know.
fact that he's got on combat boots, boxing shorts, and a fucking fur coat is pretty bananas.
And then even in
you're right, man.
In Snyder Cut, when you see him, he's like off-putting, and dude, there's a scene, I don't want to spoil the whole thing for you, but, like, obviously Robin is dead in that universe. You see it in BVS, like, you see the suit, and he's like, I'll never understand why you sent a boy wonder to do a man's job.
Just twisting that shit right into
You're gonna love this. I can't wait to
see it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just some of that shit is like.
But that scene with Joker with where he has the camera Ledger Joker, and he has the camera, and he's
making
talking
the
to
guy read. No,
not when he's making the guy read, but when he's like, "Are you the real Batman?"
Oh,
he's like, "You're not. Then why do you dress up like him?" That scene, like I remember watching it for the first time, and I was scared for the fake Batman guy.
Yeah,
like I was like, "Fuck!" Like I don't know what's gonna happen here. Like. That's my biggest.
And then the other one, I'm a man of my word. And then,
but even then that scene, and I don't know how we took such a deep dive here, which is fine. But that, like, yeah. And the same thing, like, she was beautiful, like you. You are beautiful, But like,
that voice tone change right there is.
But when
it's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you, man. when the truck was coming down, and I'm sorry, when Batman's on the Batpod, and he's coming to kill Joker, and he's like, "Come on!"
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's
right. I know. Like when he just finally in the last second decides not to do it, when Joker turns around and he's so disappointed, and like he's like. You still don't get it.
Yeah, pussy.
I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, right.
You got one way to get rid of me.
Right.
I love that.
Heath Ledger was fucking incredible.
He was fucking amazing.
I think a lot about. I don't know why it sticks in my head the when he's in the nurse outfit.
Oh my
god!
And
he's like trying to blow the buildings up, or like when Harvey.
And you know the story
up,
to that too, right?
It was actually fucked up.
It
right?
wasn't working. Like the
timer was
when
messed
he
up.
pressed the button. The people that were actually supposed to detonate the hospital, the detonation wasn't working.
They were smoking Marlboro Light.
So he turned around and looked at it, and then just went into like improv and just, and then they finally got it to work, and it was a one. They only had one chance to get it right because it was a real building they blew up.
Yeah,
it's fucking amazing.
Like I love it when Harvey wakes up and he does that.
That is the best fucking scene with that awkward smile, like I know you're mad. I love that shit,
dude.
Man.
And also in that shit, my second favorite part of that sequence is when he's like, your girlfriend, and he's like, Rachel. He's like, Rachel. My last question for you before I just ask if you have anything that you want to update us on.
Now we're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. He couldn't be happier.
Oh my god, he was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Have you watched any of the new Star Wars content at all? The Mandalorian, the Boba Fett show, any of it? Have you watched any of it?
Obi-Wan.
What did you think? Oh,
loved it.
Really?
Loved it.
Huh.
Good to hear, man.
Interesting.
Good to hear.
I hated it.
I know. I figured you would. because not because I get it, but because we're usually on the opposite
side. Yeah, we are always
like
polar
I watched like 10 minutes of The Force Awakens the other day, just scrolling, whatever. And I couldn't remember any of it. Like I was watching it, she finds the lightsaber, and I was like, I changed the channel.
That's not 10 minutes. That's like fucking hour into it.
No,
I didn't say the first 10 minutes. I just happened to be surfing.
Yes. 10 minutes of Star Wars out of context,
I didn't turn it on purpose. I didn't
wasn't one of those good parts.
There's a lot of good parts in Star Wars.
Yeah, I turned it on. I was like, nope, still don't care. Fucking just kept going.
Yeah.
And, but dude, when they cut to Vader and he's fucking just exercising and or whatever the fuck he's doing, and it cuts to his eyes and he's angry and young and still burnt up and shit, you're like, oh, there he is, and
before he had the Humpty Dumpty face.
Yeah, exactly. When you're like, oh my god, and that's that was big. We talked about this before. Ewoks, but fucking, so that scene, was like, and then when Obi-Wan's like, dude, my fucking stomach hurts, and fucking everyone just starts freaking getting in line, and Vader's fucking storming through the town and just starts fucking wrecking people. Man, it's amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was cheesy.
Did you?
I did.
Really?
Yeah, like, and it's like it was little things. I don't need to rehash it here. We could talk about it later. But like he lit that fire off with his lightsaber, or then he put it out. And then somebody else shot the oil again and lit the fire back up, and he acts like he's like, oh, too bad I can only do that one.
Maybe he can only put out a fire.
All right, that's a good one.
Maybe he can only put out a fire he starts.
Maybe. He's picking motherfuckers up and throwing them all over town, but when he finally gets Obi-Wan, the one he's been chasing forever, and he fucking throws him, and instead of like picking him up and bringing him to him the way he's been doing every fucking villager in this place, he like tells two doofy ass stormtroopers, like, yeah, go get him. go get him. That's good enough for now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I got you. But
just,
do you think maybe like his powers don't work on somebody who has the same shit? Like he has a limit, like someone could fight, like, or is there a cat and mouse thing? Like I'm going to prolong this or as long as.
I mean, I think there's
Vader just a fucking bully.
I think there's. So here's the thing. I think I am open and willing to accept that there's plenty of ways to explain it. Right? There's plenty of ways. Like I'm not one of those people that's like I find fault with this. And then, therefore, universally, it doesn't make any type of sense. I think there's plenty of ways that you can explain it. I just don't think that those ways make sense for me.
No, I get it.
You know what I mean? And like, I think definitely he could have been like, yeah, like you're not even worth me picking up.
Right.
You're not. I'm gonna send my 2 worst troops to go over there and pick you up.
They're all bad.
You know what I mean? I can understand that 100%. I just don't find him to be that type of guy. I find him to be like the fuck, come here.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
okay.
That's how I see that character. But and I hate the scene with him and Anakin Obi-Wan fighting at the end, like the last episode or whatever, where they're like on that planet and they fight with the lightsabers and all. Have you seen it? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. You're looking at me.
No, I'm trying really. I cut people off in case you guys.
No.
And I'm loading with coffee. That's something I'm working on too.
I hate that scene. I hate that whole fight scene.
I loved that. Mitch had, I was talking to Mitch about it, and he had said something that made sense. It was finally a Star Wars.
Mitch is I should have him out.
Oh yeah, he's good. It's finally a Star Wars, whatever that movie, show, whatever that the fans just wanted to see. You know what I mean? I wanted to see, like, and
that's the problem.
I wanted to see where this friggin' time lapse was with Obi-Wan, like what the and there's a lot of holes in Star Wars going or whatever. There's a lot of am I saying something?
Well, it's fucking over for me now. Jesus Christ.
To begin with, you know what I mean? So they close the gap a little bit, and when he knocks off his mask and fucking like you can see the Anakin fucking in him with that mask, because I have a very hard time. Like when I see Darth Vader, he's Darth Vader. When he's Anakin, he's Anakin. It's very hard. I don't know.
They don't seem like the same person at all.
They don't. They're two different ways. And when finally I don't know if a lot of people feel that way, and that's why they did that split. Mm-hmm. But when you can see half his face,
I think it was probably something to do with they got Hayden to do it. You know what I mean? Like they once they locked Hayden in. I think that's when they decided to do it. I think if they couldn't have got Hayden, or if they didn't want Hayden, because they act like the prequels never existed. A lot of times I feel like Disney does.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But like if they just got, who is there anybody out here that's 6'4"? Right. You? Come you mind wearing a black suit?
Yeah.
If they could have got that guy, I don't think they would have done it.
Yeah,
but I think they wanted to have his face.
And you had to for that.
Yeah,
to work.
I agree.
But them doing that, I mean, because for me, obviously, the voice is different, everything's different. Like he seems, when he was Vader, he just seems smarter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like he seemed like even through the like Hayden, like Anakin was a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, like the dark side, no one ever mentioned the dark side. You're also more intelligent, like you're a fucking spy, and I'm fucking give you shit. And fucking I mean,
what's interesting is how like watching those movies now, like the cadence of Vader in 4 is like drastically different from the cadence of him in 5 and 6.
Yeah,
like in 5, he fucking like James Earl Jones found it. Yeah. Like he really found it. But like in 4, when he's like, "You are part of the rebel alliance and the traitor, take it away." It's like he doesn't talk like that at all. After that movie, it's all like, "Alert must start." It's like it's like in control.
But at least it went in the right direction. Like Christian Bale, when he was his Batman versus the first one went off the fucking rails.
Yeah,
So at least like the progression was good, and like you were so mesmerized by Vader anyway, his appearance in the first one. You didn't fucking realize.
It's only watching the later ones and then watching 4 that I'm like, oh, he hadn't figured it out quite yet.
Right.
James Earl Jones.
And who would? Like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what is he supposed to be?
You will throw on a cape for that original trilogy in a fucking heartbeat. Specifically 4 and 5.
Say it again?
You will throw on a cape for it. Anytime I'm like, and here's something that doesn't quite work, you're like, hold on. It works because if you see it. You afford no grace.
No. Because that's my fucking wheelhouse. That's when I mean, I went to my father took me to see Star Wars in '78 or whatever year it was, 77. And then Return of the Jedi, and I remember like the neighbor told me that fucking Darth Vader was Luke's father before we went to see it. My father was mad.
Oh, spoiler!
Oh my god, yeah, and friggin' and you know, I didn't even give a shit. I was like, really cool. We got to go see it. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I mean. So even like this stuff that you pick out as far as the Obi-Wan series, you're right. You know, and now that you say it, you're right. But it still doesn't matter. I still want to see them too.
Right.
You know, and when he breaks that fucking mask, and you see, like, I could finally see the connection. You know what I mean? His face, and then he's just fucking yelling when he's doing Obi-Wan. Just is like, "Fuck you! I'm not even going to kill you again. I'm just going to let you stand here again and think about this."
My only request is when you leave here today, if you could just leave the cape here, so it's always here when you need it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else going on in your life that you'd like to talk about, or are you good? Like recently that you want to bring up for your nerd week, for lack of a better term?
As far as
anything, stuff you've been watching or looking at or reading.
I've been watching a lot of Resident Evils.
Yeah, how you find them?
The cartoon one is really
I haven't seen
good.
it.
The cartoon one that's just based strictly off the game characters.
I saw the first 2 live action ones. They were
I might have back then.
I've been watching the shows.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is this like on the Netflix?
Yeah.
Because there's a live action one now too on Netflix in there.
I got to make a quick interruption. So last week, I'm not sure if you listened.
I did not get an opportunity.
No, because it just came out today.
You know how the internet is in Alabama.
No worries. I canceled my Netflix.
Wow.
And for the first time, I know what it feels like to be the person who says, "Oh, I don't have a Facebook." And I got to tell you, it's pretty satisfying.
Well, good.
Anytime I'm at work or something, somebody's like, "Oh, and then there's such and such that's on Netflix." "Oh, sorry, man. I don't have Netflix."
Right.
I chose to cancel it because I don't like it.
You chose.
And it's like, I had to sit with that for a minute.
Well, listen, whenever that day comes, and it will, just let me know and I'll give you my password.
I'm sure Laura will end up getting it again for the kids. And she's already working on it, I can tell. She's trying to mold me inside, manipulate me. I'm well onto it.
It's funny you say that, because I think that was like the beginning of the end for me is when I got Facebook. Because because I kind of had to.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
and
did.
it was it was the worst thing I've ever
Well, get off.
done. I can't.
But don't like, I have a Facebook, right?
Yeah.
But I don't fuck around on it. I use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Like I use it for
you got things going on. Like but
that's true. But I'll scroll on Reddit for fucking 3 hours if you let me. Like, you know what I mean? Because my feed is so perfectly curated.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh my god, like this is a rumor in the DC universe, really? Oh, well, that's cool. Slide, and I'm like, oh, this was going on. This was going on in the UK drill scene.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then I slide, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna take all of that, girl? Okay. And then it's like, wow. It's like perfectly curated. Yeah. But Facebook, it's just a hornet's nest that's just constantly trying to get roused, and like that I don't think is healthy for anyone.
Well, see, mine's not like that, because mine's all hobby shit. Like, I don't have any like political bullshit on mine.
You don't have like. So I don't have like political bullshit. Well, no, that's not true.
I never post anything.
I have political bullshit that I see in my Facebook feed when I do decide to get on there from people in this fucking hobby.
Oh, I have a lot of people that I don't follow because I like being their friend. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've told many people, like, look, I don't follow. We're friends on Facebook, but I don't see what you post because I don't care about what you're talking about.
My general thoughts are, if your feelings on politics can be expressed in a meme, I'm not interested in your opinion.
That's a good point.
And it's I feel like it's, dude, like, oh, I like this thing, but I didn't like that, and fucking who's gonna be mad that I'm paying attention or whatever. It's just stupid, like, and fuck, and I just, and there was a reason why I knew I would fucking hate it, and I had to do it, and it's even worse than I thought it would be, and I agree, like, and I love the people that just do shit that's just like, oh, hey, look at this cool shit that happened or whatever,
or
that's
like
really
pictures of your kids, or something
exactly,
like that. Like
exactly, and I don't even do that. I don't even do that for my kids. No, but I don't post anything ever unless I know
that you've been going through some stuff recently mentally. Like I've picked up on it. So like I went on Facebook recently, which I don't normally do, and I went to your page specifically and just scrolled through to see if there was any signs that I could pick up of some sort of expression of something. And I didn't see any, obviously, because you're not that person, but I did see like stuff that people have shared of you, of like coaching and stuff like that. And I was like, man, look at this dude, man. Like I was proud of you. Like
I appreciate that.
I know that's like a dream of yours in a sense, like be involved with kids and sports and all that kind of stuff. And like, you know, I was just like, it was very endearing for me to see it. Like I was taken back by it. Like, you know, in an emotional way.
That's very nice of you to say. Yes, it is. You know, and it is. Yeah, I mean that's something that it kind of takes a lot of time, man. It takes a lot of time, and I love it, but it's exhausting in a lot of ways too. So, especially when you don't get the results you're looking for, you go to tournaments, get your fucking ass handed to you. You're like, holy shit! I mean, it's the one thing I thought I was good at. You know, so,
just to blame the kids.
Yo, I do. Which I'm like, am I really doing this for the kids? No, I'm just kidding. You know, but yeah. So yeah, it's just I feel like that. Yeah, there's a lot of yeah. I mean, people do play. It's just a weird world. You know what I mean? It's just a weird world, like you know what I mean. So
I think more than ever, the past 3 years has been people will say things on the internet they never say to your face,
exactly,
or to anyone out loud.
Yeah, and you know what it is too is like I don't. Besides for that part of my life, like coaching stuff, I don't have a lot to do. So I'll just be like. And then the next thing you know, it's like freaking, 2 hours later, my thumb hurts. You know what I mean? I'm like, what did I just do with my day?
Yeah. You know? I hate, like, I call it, I tell Laura that, like, because sometimes she likes to have, like, she's very different than I am because she's go, but it's all shit she doesn't want to do. You know what I mean? Like, and it is what it is, but like laundry and fucking, whatever, errands and grocery store and cooking and you know what I mean? Like, she's busy. She's busy now. When you guys came here, she's fucking busy doing shit. But it's, but at the same time, it's like busy with shit she doesn't want to do. Right? It's busy with shit she has to do. Whereas I'm always busy. But I'm usually busy with shit I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do this podcast. I want to, whatever the case may be. And so, like, her idea of a fun moment is, like, sit and do nothing. Like, so, like, she really enjoys, like, sitting in the morning and having a cup of coffee with me. Like, and it's with me. It's specifically. Like, she wants to spend time with me and a cup of coffee and sit down and relax. Right? And I do that. Because I know it's important to her, where I would rather get the coffee and then let's go like sip and walk and, whatever we got to do. Look at this. We could do this. And, I'm just that way. Well, oftentimes during those sitting and coffee, we end up on our phones at some point. Not like we're not talking to each other, but like we might like what's going on in the world and look at news and have a discussion about that and then go back. But I'll find myself ending up on Reddit or ending up on Instagram or something like that. And I just get to scrolling. Right. Just scrolling, right? And I tell Laura, I was like, I'll be sitting there and she'll be like, what happened? Because she can feel my mood change, right? And I'm like, I've scrolled into, I call it, I've scrolled into the meh.
The what?
The meh.
Yeah,
where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about it. I'm kind of meh. Like, I just feel like a slob. Like, I've just scrolled endlessly with all this thoughtless bullshit. Like, I'm not stimulated at all other than just completely visually. My mind's not stimulated. It's just whatever, asses and memes and, dogs doing cute shit and, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I mean? I don't think that shit is healthy. And I try to stay conscious of it. And like, if I feel it coming on, I'm getting ready to scroll into the meh, and we'll stop. We'll stop and we'll go do something or whatever so that I don't just feel like a fucking slug.
Yeah. Because it's draining. It sucks you. It takes all your creativity away. It's just like, you're just watching other shit and, and so it is. It's just, I was a newspaper guy back in the day. Like, I would get my newspaper in the morning. I would read that thing from front to back, and I loved it.
That's the oldest thing I've ever heard about.
I know. I bought one like a couple of weeks ago just to go back to that but I got all the information I needed and I was done by 10 o'clock of whatever time I woke up.
Because it was only like 5 pages long.
What's that? What's that?
They're not thick anymore. There's not a decent sized newspaper. It's so
when
small.
I used to ride the subway or the Long Railroad into work or whatever, I'd have my newspaper in my back pocket. I'd sit down and open it up, and by the time I got to the job site or whatever, I was informed on everything that was left.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was good. And then it was, but this, you're like, what happened in the last 10 minutes? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you just and it's like whatever. And so I missed that. You know, I missed that part because I got everything I needed, but it was done by early in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it. So you know, I used to always like to read content, always, and I still do, but now there's just unlimited content.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So
there's no last fold
right.
on the newspaper, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I'd even go back, like if it was long, I'd go back to an article or something. It was too long. My ADD would only allow me to read so far, and then go on to something else, and I'd pick it back up or whatever. But that's
I'm going to interject real quick with my nerdy because it's only one thing,
do.
and then
we'll unload.
So I'm watching the show on HBO that I highly recommend. It's a weekly show. It's a documentary series. It's called The Anarchists.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's basically these people that lived in America that were like, I'm tired of paying taxes. I'm tired of paying taxes and not feeling like I'm represented with the money that I'm spending. We're gonna go and live in anarchy. No rules, no government, no bullshit. They end up by whatever. This is a little weird, but they end up in Acapulco. Is where they end up settling.
okay.
Right. So they leave America, they go to Mexico, and end up in Acapulco. And
I've never been, but is it very American-like Acapulco, or like it's a very commercialized?
Well, it's different parts. So Mexico is very like, here's the tourist part,
right,
and here's the part where the tourists shouldn't go,
okay.
and they're right next to each other. So it's kind of a crapshoot.
So they started like, coming up with a community, and it's just
you said this is a documentary?
It's a documentary series.
Okay.
And they come up with this like community of anarchists that, they're going to grow their own food. They're going to, they're going to do all that. They're not going to use banks. They're going to be off the grid.
Oh.
They choose to invest in this new thing coming out called crypto coin because it's not controlled by the bank. So they end up dumping a ton of money into crypto, into Bitcoin specifically, very early on. These two folks that are on the run for tax evasion in America because they don't believe in the system, they end up in Mexico and Acapulco also because they've heard about this community. But they're like the real deal. They want to live the lifestyle. They got the fucking dreadlocks. They got the, you know what I mean? We
ain't shaving. We're just here for misbehaving.
Yeah, like we're not studio anarchists. We're the real fucking deal. They don't quite fit in, right? It gets worse and worse and more complicated, and then to make things even more complicated, Bitcoin becomes what it becomes, and all of these people that were growing their own farms are suddenly millionaires. Mm-hmm.
This sounds good. And
then the whole kind of facet of the community drastically changes because some people are like, well, now you've just become the exact fucking thing that you said you had no interest in, but now that you have the power, now you're fucking interested. Right. And then it's just this and this and this, and it mirrors our community a lot, where it's like you see people fed up with the machine slowly turn into the fucking machine.
Yep.
But anyway, I highly recommend it. It's on HBO, and it's that. And I finished up the Sammy the Bull Gravano. Have you seen this new interview series that he's had recently?
No.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I told this story last week. I'm going to tell it real quick just because I know that you're an enthusiast in the same way that I am. He talks about killing this guy in Philly.
Oh, the guy he respected?
Yes.
Yeah, he felt bad.
With the
guy
shoes?
in the back of the van.
Did you hear about the shoes?
And he's like, let me take my shoes off. I promise my wife. That was amazing.
Dude, fucking amazing.
Where is this located?
Vlad TV.
If you like that, you ever watch Mike Francese's or listen to Francese's podcast?
I haven't listened to his podcast.
I listen to him on YouTube. I pick up snippets.
But I've seen multiple
he's good
interviews with him. But he's sometimes he could be a bit much for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Like Sammy comes across very authentic and genuine. Like,
gotta be careful with him though.
No, I know. But he comes across as a street guy.
Yes.
And Michael comes across to me as a bit of a like like a smoothie,
but he was, and
maybe
that's what he explains.
Maybe
like, he was in medical school. He was like the Michael Corleone. He wasn't supposed to go,
and that's how he comes across.
And he says that. But see, from like knowing Sammy's the Bull story, he only lets you see what he wants you to see.
Yeah,
and he's a total sociopath and fucking.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
and I didn't
even
know
though he seems authentic, it's like what is.
I don't mean authentic in the terms of being a gangster.
And I'm sure he is authentic, obviously.
But I just mean he seems like an authentic person. Like it doesn't seem like when he talks, I believe him.
I do too. But the thing is, it's to me, it's such a weird. I know that personality type. I've actually known people with that personality, not to that extreme, obviously,
right.
and not even in that world, but where they're so they sell it so well, and they could manipulate everybody around them, and they could make two people who fucking love each other, friends forever, just want to kill each other by start planting little seeds and shit like that. Yes, he's an authentic street guy, but I don't know if you'll ever. Knowing his story and obviously and everything, like you're never going to see something he doesn't want you to see, and he's able to we can't hide our bad moods, right? He could be totally sitting with three people in a room for 3 hours that he's going to kill, and nobody's the wiser, right? And that's a special kind of fucking
Yeah, but I think he's let a bit of that go.
Maybe.
Not to say that he doesn't have that tool anymore, but he doesn't really need it anymore. So, like in this interview, there's a couple times he gets pissed, and he's not able to. He's not able to not show it.
He's fascinating to me. Don't
I
get me
agree.
wrong. And again, that's something you are. You know what I mean? When you're born with that, or with lack thereof, however you want to fucking categorize it. You know what I mean? So I hear what you're saying about Francis, but like Francis, like he
seems like he's trying to sell me snake oil. Like whenever I listen to him, like I feel like I'm getting this representative. Like he's the one that I'm like I've listened to hours of his interviews and stuff because he got good stories and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I don't think I've ever seen this dude yet. I've watched 3 hours of him. Yeah, but I don't think I've ever seen him.
I think it's quite the opposite.
Oh,
with those two.
Oh, I disagree.
I know. I hear you, and we who knows who's right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
For sure.
You know what I mean.
For
it's
sure.
just who knows? But I guess
even when he starts talking about the Christian stuff, I'm like.
Well, I think that's where he probably loses you.
No. It's just the way he talks about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an anti-Christian guy, and I've talked to plenty of people that are very Scotty, who's very renowned.
Yeah.
I got and it's like it always comes across so genuine, and so like this is very real to them, But with him, it's like, no, you just figured out another loophole. Like
maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe, and it's just, I got you. And I didn't mean to like make it sound like you were that. I'm not saying you are.
Yeah.
I just. With him, it's just, I don't know. Like you can see the story, you can see. I remember him, like when and it just when you pick up the newspaper and you saw Pitt, like it seemed odd, like it didn't fit. Like he didn't. Like he looked like he should be, like he looked like a very successful businessman. Yeah. He didn't look like somebody.
But he looked to me like a slimy businessman, like car insurance or like what I mean. Not and then there's like probably most of our audience is probably car insurance salesmen. They're like right in for next week. I'll have to go through 30 fucking emails of people being like, I sell car insurance and I'm an honest person.
Yeah, well, same thing with Facebook. Like I just went on. Like I want to go. Like I respect people. Some people are good at Facebook and they do it right and everything seems cool. Like they do. Like I could never do. Like I'll post something and be like, oh, that was stupid. And it's there forever. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not that I'm like, right. I get that people know how to maneuver in that world. It's just not for me. So I didn't want to make it sound like, everybody does it, whatever. But the same, like going back to, like you said, like salesman, whatever. So I get the people he interviews, like he interviewed Garano.
Yeah, that's a pay thing though, right? Like you got to pay to see that.
Well, I got snippets there's snippets of it.
Yeah.
Like when I used to work out and stuff like that, I would listen to these interviews.
One of those like Gravano's like don't put your fucking finger at me, I'll break your fucking face. Yeah. But that's the thing. I feel like that dude can't hide how he feels.
He has to be able.
Now.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's all whatever, But
whereas Francis is like, Sammy, you did kind of, but and he's like, don't put your fucking finger at me. I'll fucking break your face. I'm like, oh.
But the thing about Francis is he's
76 years old. This guy's like 77.
Francis went to jail.
So did Sammy.
Yeah, but he went to jail because he didn't say anything, and the other guy did.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a separate discussion for me.
And who knows what kind of time either they were probably facing totally different types of time.
Well, and I mean, but, like when it's because there is a philosophical question there, right? Like because Sammy was 100. According,
I'm almost nervous having this conversation.
According
this
to
is
him,
a safe space.
No, he's talking about once it goes live. But according to him, he was 100% willing to go down with the ship.
He didn't like the way the other guy was.
But when they showed the tapes,
right.
and Gotti was blaming things that he hadn't done, that Sammy hadn't done on Sammy.
Right.
Then he was like, well, wait a fucking minute. Right. And that's what made him kind of change his, like I'm willing to go down for what I did, but I'm not going to go down for shit I didn't do.
Right.
And if that's going to be the fucking narrative, then everybody's going to go down for what they did.
Very well. And it was a very good, and Gotti was kind of like, to me, like a mixture of both of the guys we're talking about.
I agree.
So he had that fucking fuck you or whatever, but he was also the handsome fucking slick motherfucker.
I agree.
So he was kind of both of those guys melded into one.
Yeah, I agree.
And Gravano, a lot of the people like that didn't like hey man, you're not supposed to be on the cover of fucking of
Rolling Stone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you kind and he was like, and Gotti was like giving everyone the middle finger, and he was like a folk hero to everybody, and so it was a very interesting time in New York.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my God, and
100%.
he would have those block parties in Queens, and you'd open up the newspaper like, oh my God, I want to go to that thing.
Buy fireworks.
Yeah, and like his neighborhood was like the safest fucking neighborhood in the world. You know what I mean? And like he was so it was a very interesting time in New York, and
Agreed.
to see and to see. And that's why those movies were so successful, because everyone,
they're great stories.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like those people you're watching on the Acapulco show, they kind of live that type of life, but both. Like they only listen to their own fucking rules.
Yeah.
And back in the day there was a code.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it got crazy, and he talks a little bit about that. Sammy does anyway, about like the who he calls the old timers. I guess he's talking about like original commission days and stuff, like and how they were they followed the rules, and they always went down with the ship, and they always stood up, and there's like
Lucianos and all those guys.
But they were like but none of those guys face RICO charges. None of those. He was like,
that
those
wasn't
guys,
even a thing.
Yeah, like all those guys would go away for 10 years. Well, like every charge that my generation faced was fucking 30 years, 40 years. Like what I mean? It was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, there was a time when these people
changed the game.
Yeah. There was a time people actually was the scariest guy in New York, and people said Rudy Giuliani.
Right.
I mean, he's the one who just brought those RICO charges.
Yeah. So with that, Christopher, welcome back. It should be.
Let me tell you, I don't know if you guys realize that time is a construct, because I don't know where in the plane of reality this show exists anymore. Because to me, I don't know if I was on here 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And this show we're recording is even out of time in place.
A week to the day
Jesus,
prior
Christmas,
to when it will actually come
crackers,
out.
Christ. So, I got a lot. I don't know when it happened, where it happened, sometimes. So let's just start. I went to Alabama.
Dude.
You can email us.
Yeah. All right. So took the whole crew, all five of us, flew down to lovely Huntsville, Alabama, to the international airport that has like 7 terminals somehow. Pretty uneventful trip. I think we flew American. It had
makes sense.
Yeah, thanks. These are these little 4-seater across planes.
Oh, okay.
It's not a very big plane.
Chickens on it.
They had to shift some cargo around,
like Indiana Jones, like showing.
It was almost that bad. You actually don't have to get out on the tarmac. So we rented a car, and they had sent me a message that said, "Hey, would you like to upgrade?" I'm like, "Well, let me see what's up." So I go to the website where I click the button in the email, and it says no cars are available. I'm like, "Oh, this might turn out to be." I don't know if you guys know this. The rental car business is like ridiculous right now because they don't have anything. They sold right when COVID started. I remember Hertz sold their fucking rental fleet for really pennies on the dollar compared to what cars are worth now. And they're slowly getting their fleet back, but cars aren't just readily available. So the guy comes to the counter, and I had reserved, I don't know, a mid-sized sedan, so it would have been like a Malibu or something. Got a super crackhead good deal with a special rate. Well, it was $250 for a week.
Just like a crackhead good deal.
Yeah, well, it's $250 for a week.
I know
that
exactly what that means. I've never heard it before, but as soon as you say it, I'm like, I understand the concept. So
the kid working the counter is like, "How would you like a brand new 4-door Dodge Ram?" And I'm thinking, that gas mileage is going to be awful, and gas is freaking $5.
Right.
I said, "You got anything else?" And he came back, he's like, "I have a brand new Camry." I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, it's a black Camry. I'm like, that's hopefully not. I could probably make some Uber money with them.
Right.
All the Ubers in New York City are black Camrys. But it was legit a brand new Camry. So it was nice to get that car. Went to my parents' house and hung out and ate and played in the yard, and I injured myself. I'm not quite sure how. I call it my frisbee wrist.
Damn.
Yeah, it's actually better than it was. It doesn't hurt at all. I didn't even notice it. I was sitting on the couch like with my arm kind of like this, and one of my kids like, "What'd you do to your arm?" And they come over and start poking it. Kid, what is it? What?
Does that hurt?
It does, yeah, and it's got this weird it's got a lump in it that's not bruised. So I'm thinking I might have torn it, like something. I don't know. We were playing frisbee, so I was doing this motion, and it didn't hurt at all. I threw frisbee afterwards, and my parents have a huge yard, so
dude.
They have 4 acres, so
it still doesn't hurt.
No, I mean it hurts. Like if I lean on it right here, it hurts a little bit, but I don't know. I probably should go get seen about, but I probably have lots of stuff I should go get seen about, don't I? Let's see. We ate a ton of food down there. We had a list of restaurants to the point where one day Kelly went to one restaurant, I went to another because that's how we wanted
in order to get it all done.
To get it all done, we went to this. There's this little, literally a hole in the wall restaurant called Dubs. It's a little hamburger joint in Athens, Alabama.
Nice.
It's actually been bought by a I don't know how old this guy, a younger guy. It was like there's a family that owned half of Athens, Alabama at one point in time. They had owned this place, but he bought it and he's keeping all the recipes and everything. So just kind of, heartwarming to get to eat that. I went to a Waffle House in Alabama.
Dude.
And I didn't realize I didn't realize how good or bad, depending on your perspective, of a parent I am, because we had never taken them to Waffle House.
Yeah, that's justifiable both ways.
But they enjoyed it. They enjoyed Waffle House.
Dude, my dad used to take me to Waffle House.
What did you say?
My dad used to be in Waffle House and then Cracker Barrel. And Cracker Barrel, whenever he would always say, "It's a place that looks like it sounds."
Gary, do you like Waffle House?
I think so.
There's not as nearly as many up this way.
How bad could it be, right? I mean,
true.
House with waffles.
There you go.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I will say my daughter, who's 14, she was nervous about going because she all she's ever seen is
the violence
fights
that
at
often
Waffle
happens.
House. I said, listen, that's not going to happen except between 11 and 3 at night. You at 10 o'clock in the morning in Alabama on the side of a highway. I don't think we don't have much to be leery of. Let's see what else we ate. There's a German restaurant down there that we really like. We took my parents out to eat one night and went there. My mom cooked just a ridiculous amount of food.
Good.
We ate and like I don't even know if I want to eat food for a while.
Yeah.
I think I just want to just drink things and kind of let that work out. It was ridiculously hot down there, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's the humidity." It is the humidity.
It definitely makes it worse.
Because it feels like it's 10 degrees hotter because the air's so thick and you're having to work harder to breathe.
You got to fucking move it out of the way.
Oh, it's such a
it's so fucking obnoxious.
Cup some of it to breathe.
Yeah, and 2 of the kids are all stuffy. I think you get used to the pollen where you live, basically. In the Tennessee Valley where Huntsville is, it's basically a dust bowl, and the pollen just spins and spins and spins. So Charlie was my young little guy, he was all stuffy. And let's see, ton of wrestling. I even watched wrestling while I was there. I ordered a pay-per-view.
When in Rome.
Well, hey.
Or Athens. How does a town in Alabama get named Athens?
It is weird, right?
Right? I picture Greece.
And there's also at Athens, Georgia, right?
There's almost an Athens in every state.
Is that right?
There's an Athens, Tennessee, Athens, Mississippi.
It just doesn't seem like the hub for culture.
I mean, there's a
Yeah, it is.
let me tell you something.
Alexander the Great land here.
Let me tell you something about Athens, Alabama.
Get this name. Is he even from Greece? That's stupid. Right?
Alabama.
From Russia.
Yeah. All right, whatever.
What'd I say?
Yeah, some kind of toga. I mean,
I get it.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in Athens, Alabama over the years, and it is definitely not the hub of any sort of civilization. They are getting a Buc-ee's, people who know what Buc-ee's is. Yeah, so there's a ton of wrestling. Ring of Honor had a pay-per-view over the weekend. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's the big time wrestlers now?
big time wrestlers?
Who's the
the Hulk
John
Hogan
Cena?
of
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean WWE, you got Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Who is
Slick back hair guy?
yeah, he's
black
the
hair
Rock's
dude?
he's the Rock's cousin.
Okay.
And then his
Nepotism, right?
It is, well, and then the two guys that run with him are his cousins, who are Rikishi's sons. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, it's the Rikishi, the Samoans.
That's
They got
that-
the big
That's
butt.
that dude in Lion King.
No, that's Rafiki.
Oh, my bad.
Good call. And then there's another company called AEW I really enjoy that company. And CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, John Moxley was Dean Ambrose before.
I believe that's a band, CM Punk.
Probably, yeah. There's a ton
He's
of
like a middleweight, right? He's not
who's that? Which one?
CM Punk. He's not
he's not a super jack guy. There's not a lot of super jack guys anymore. It's a lot of CrossFit really changed that.
Okay.
So Seth Rollins is in WWE and his nickname is
acrobatic stuff.
Yeah, his nickname is the CrossFit Jesus. I mean, he's in amazing shape, but it's a natural, body. He's not jacked
cool.
to the moon. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's more realistic looking people, I guess. You don't get as many characters like Hogan and Ultimate. I mean, people still obviously are, and people are still ripping the shirts off.
Just leave it on.
I was all in then.
Yeah.
Oh, if we kick 80s wrestling, I'll be able to throw some names around. But.
For sure. Doink
the Clown, man. That's the goat.
My goodness. Oh, that it looks like that ring with all those figures will be shipping soon.
Oh, dude,
the crowdfund thing they did. There's a flea market in Alabama. It's an outdoor flea market. It's called the Dog Day Flea Market. It is on the Alabama-Tennessee line, and banjos, please. You have to turn 3 or 4 times through the holler to get there. And it is in the bottom land there. It's called Dog Days because historically that's where you would go to buy a hunting dog.
Right.
Or a rooster for whatever reason you need to buy a rooster.
Fighting, mostly.
In the morning.
We both do it.
I don't get a good signal on my phone, so I'm just going to get a rooster.
There were tons of...
it syncs with Bluetooth now.
There were tons of... I'm trying to find the picture. And of animals for sale there. And there were also... I think I've found, pretty much any sort of... Confederate flag paraphernalia you might want. It looks like the potheads have embraced
just a states' rights heaven.
It is. Yeah, I think that it's a turn. And this is a good one here. I found this pile of Trump hats that someone had let sit, and there's some mildew growing on. I think that's actually like a bootleg Trump hat. They're just like, American flag, keep America great.
Can I have a side conversation real quick about do you remember like in the 90s with the Malcolm X hats where it was and then the counter it was like the with the like,
and they also have the thing that hung off the rear view mirrors that had the,
but it was just the X on the hat. It was like a white X on a black hat.
Yep.
And then
I saw that in a rap video.
Well, it was probably made popular after the film, I would imagine, because that was the logo of the film, was just the X on the black background, right? And then the kind of counterculture to that counterculture, for lack of a better term, became the "you wear your X, I'll wear mine," and they started wearing like the stars, like the what is it, Old Dixie, whatever the fuck it is, like on their hat. Well, during that time, I bought a VHS of like, it was like spending time with the comic book greats, right?
I remember that.
So it was Marvel Stan Lee, and at the time X-Men artist Jim Lee, and it was just like going through his process of how he draws and like little tips and tricks he's picked up along the way, and like an interview as he's drawing. And
it was
like,
a really cool series.
It was amazing. But he's a Korean guy, and he was wearing one of those Malcolm X hats. And I watched it with my buddy Tony Adams. I probably shouldn't have said his last name, but we're sitting there and we're looking at it, right? We're sitting there and we're looking at it, and we're like, do you think he thinks that hat represents the X-Men?
I think it was probably maybe more of a statement than you realized at the time.
I got a funny story like that, man. I was gonna. So it was way back in the day. I was coaching my my little guy in T-ball, and we were on the Dodgers, and so I wanted to get my wife a shirt that had the Dodger emblem on it, the logo on it. So I went to this this small little store in the mall, and I was gonna buy it, and I can't remember the fucking rapper it was, but it was what the hell was it? And actually, it's not that funny a story because I can't remember anything. So, anyway, she's like, I don't think that means, it's not what you think it is. And I was like, well, it's the Dodgers. She's like, look at it again. And it was, oh man, which guy was it, man? But it was just totally, a weed smoking shirt or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And it was just so, and I just felt so stupid.
I got one. I got one that's similar.
Okay, good. Bail me out of this one.
Yeah. I got you. I'm at the Patapsco Flea Market. Right?
Okay.
Baltimore County, right on the line of Baltimore City, and I'm walking around with some buddies of mine, and it was good. You could buy T-shirts there, like it was like 10 for $20 or whatever. Like it was just sweatpants, whatever you like, little regular shit.
Right.
Socks, exactly.
Everywhere.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't go there for jeans necessarily, although they have that there.
Some Jabos.
But well, it would be like Janos.
Some guest jeans with a T on the end.
Or ED. So anyway, I saw this jacket and it was badass. Like it was a badass fucking jacket.
Right.
It was jet black.
Gem.
It was jet black, and it had in orange letters across the back Baltimore. And it was a baseball style jacket, which I love those fucking things, like the leather sleeves with like the
like a Letterman jacket.
The Orioles colors. Yeah.
Dude, I was like, I need this fucking thing. So I was like, hey man, you mind if I try this on? And the guy in the flea market was like, I mean, yeah, I guess, go ahead. So I took it off, the back of it's showing, right? Mm-hmm. I took it off the hanger,
right? And
I go to turn it around to put my arms in it, and I see the front has a different patch on it that I don't recognize, right? And then inside it says like Negro League, such and such. So I'm there with all my buddies. I've already asked if I could try it on, right? I've got it in my hands. I'm the only white guy in like.
What does this say? It says kill Whitey.
I'm the only white guy in like 2 square miles, right? And I'm like, so I'm committed, right? I'm committed. So I just throw it on, right? And everybody's, you could hear a fucking mouse fart, right? And then I just looked at my buddies like, what do you think? You think I could pull it off? Everybody started laughing. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, man. I took it off and put it back on.
Oh my goodness! At least you bailed. Yeah, like I felt like sure, try it on.
I don't know shit about sports. You know what I mean? I feel like a fucking idiot.
So the belle of the ball is this flag I saw. Now I've turned this sideways so you can read it. It's a black flag. It says a Trump 2024. Fuck your feelings.
Yeah, I guess that says it.
That would have been the gym. There's actually
the belle of the ball.
There was a ton of people. You know where your mouth is, Bobby? It's the big hole in your face.
Got a drinking problem.
Surprisingly, a lot of more video game stuff than I would have realized. And Mason collects basically any handheld Nintendo console. So he actually found a really good original Game Boy in a red color for like a reasonable price. Mm-hmm. It was just surprising to see that there, to be honest, a little bit. Let's see here. I only bought one gift. Sorry, Bobby, it's not for you. And Gary, I'm sorry. It slipped my mind to get you
I get it.
But we have a very thirsty friend.
We do. Velocithirster.
I got him a gift, and next time I see you, Phil, I will present it to you.
Is it a woman?
No, but I did have to almost seduce an Tennessee lady to get.
How hard could it be?
Well, you see all these teeth here.
Just show your health insurance card. Yeah. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You put the fucking ball in the tee. What do you want me to do?
So, my mom on Saturday has my brother and his wife come to visit, and then two of my aunts come to visit, and we're just having a good time, and me and my brother don't talk a lot. We don't see each other a lot. We get along just fine. It's just in different worlds, really. We're talking about video games, and he's got a PC set up and everything. And we're talking about Elden Ring. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty stuck on it. I can't get very far. He's like, what are you playing on? I said, I have a PS5. And he pauses for a minute, looks at me, and says, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just so dismissive. I'm like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I had to go through to get this?
But when you said a PC, like if you
PC gamers are like,
a
lot of them are very.
I don't dig them at all.
Yeah. Consoles only.
Yeah, exactly. A keyboard, like fuck that. I mean, who the fuck wants to type while they're playing shit?
I play video games. I'm not a nerd.
Right. I mean, like, you're like, oh god, the whole typing while you're gaming thing is like, how fucking like,
I will tell you,
nerdy you have
I live in a very nerdy house. Yeah. Everybody but me in my house plays games on their computer with the pad. I can't. I just
sorry for all those jokes.
No, listen, you didn't miss. But you didn't miss once, so it's fine. You're not hurting my feelings. Yeah. Speaking of video games, there's a new game out called Stray.
Okay, there's a lot of people catching strays in here.
Yeah. Well, this particular one, you're a stray cat in this dystopian world.
Okay,
and you play as the cat, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
I've got a couple hours.
It's interesting,
and it's cheap. It's only I think it's only $30 on the PlayStation Store, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I only played it it came out, of course, while we were gone, so I got it downloaded yesterday and played it for a bit. So
yeah.
I'm enjoying it. It's a fun game.
What's it called?
It's called Stray. Nice. Stray. Yeah. Yeah. Turbulence, Bobby. I know your favorite subject is turbulence on a plane.
Scares the shit out of me.
So Kelly had an eagle eye on the weather before we left, and there's a pretty nasty storm that was rolling through. Right around the time it was up here. It wasn't where we were taking off from. So we get in the air and. Pilot says we're going to keep the seatbelt sign on. We might hit some turbulence, and boy, howdy! This is the first time my children had ever experienced. It seemed like an elevator dropped 4 floors at once.
Yeah, fuck you.
Oof. Yeah. And I say,
is there anybody like that? Doesn't bother me.
And
check, please.
And I say to the kids, that's why we wear seatbelts in airplanes, because you would
have hit the head on the fucking.
You would have hit your head.
Otherwise, they useless. It's like, what's that really going to do?
Exactly.
It's almost like I'd rather not wear it. Like, why prolong
I'd rather hit my head, break my neck, and die, and just fireball.
Right. It's like the 5-minute scream all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
Could have been dead 5 minutes ago, but was
so true, dude.
I got knocked out on the volcano. So the great part about it is after that dip, and the whole plane, everybody's like, "Whoa!" And my kids are looking around like, "What the fuck?" The pilot comes on and says, "Folks, I'm going to keep that seatbelt sign on." There's a good chance that's the least of our turbulence so far. No. Luckily, it did the hard dip the one time, and then it was pretty rocky for about 10 minutes, but then it was fine.
See, that's the worst thing. Like our thing we have, like not hiding emotions. Like I'll look at my kid, like, "What fucked?"
When we went to we flew to Chicago a couple years ago, and like my kid grabbed my hand and was like, "It's gonna be fine."
No, it ain't.
I'm like, "Does anything about this seem fucking fine to you?" So why did they get this fucking thing in the air? I don't even understand it.
Yeah, man.
God bless. I can't rollerblade. You want me to get in this fucking thing?
Oh my god! Did you ever see that fucking movie with Will Ferrell? The one with I forgot what the hell it was called. It was a nightmare, dude. Where he's married to Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the chick from Seinfeld.
I find her attractive.
I do too. Right, I still do.
Yeah.
What's that?
I wouldn't kick her out of bed.
Yeah, no. And she was a little tramp on Seinfeld, which made it great. But anyway, so they're married and they got this real shitty fucking marriage, and it's not the worst.
Not like Clarence's parents.
What's that?
They had a real good marriage.
They had a real good marriage.
His name is Clarence. Yes, right. Yeah. But it wasn't the worst. But so they're sitting. They're
one about skiing.
Yes.
Okay, I've never seen it. I've seen it, I think, on Netflix.
Dude, this one scene, it's fucking. You're like, ooh, like there's no coming back from this, And can I tell you?
Yeah. Go for it.
So fucking, they're on a ski trip. I think they're out of the country. They're in Sweden. They're somewhere like Switzerland.
Right.
But fucking, and they're sitting outside eating lunch, and there's an avalanche is forming, and fucking, he's sitting there with his family, and the fucking thing is just rolling, and he sees it first, and he fucking snaps and bolts. Grabs his cell phone, comes back, grabs his cell phone, and fucking rolls. She grabs her kids. She's like, she sees him take off, and she grabs her kids and like pulls their heads down, and they get covered. They get fucking demolished, but it's okay. he's like fucking 50 yards down the fucking road, dude. And he comes back. He's like, whew, that was a close one. She's just looking at him. Dude, the rest of the movie, like, oh my god, like you watch this movie and you feel like he just lost every fucking ounce of manhood credit, whatever the fuck he had. You know what I mean? His kids, his wife was like, fuck you, bitches,
a vote of no confidence.
Dude, he was gone. All the fucking colors were showing, dude, and fucking and they're stuck on the ski trip for another like week,
right?
And you know, and
that's great.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. And like his father died like 8 months ago, and like he's still talking about it, and she's been over it for like whatever, and he's still like and it's fucking amazing. Like I'm
gonna check that out,
Bobby. He can't remember Batman, but he's telling us plot details from a movie.
Well, that was an easy one. Yeah, it was one fucking scene. Yeah, that was a tough one. Where you're like, ooh.
What else you got, Chris?
Oh man,
we do have a lot of notes.
Oh jeez, I didn't realize that. Okay.
I feel unprepared.
No, we take care of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So I mean, the week honestly it flew by. It was super quick. Just a couple other things.
Yeah.
We have a hole in our ceiling in the basement right now because we had a pinhole leak in an old copper pipe.
Yeah, you talked about that.
Yeah, so this happened like a day before we were leaving.
Right.
So we just cut the water.
You were
off.
here like the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just cut the water off. The guy came yesterday. 2 guys came yesterday. And basically all the copper pipes in our house need to be replaced at some point in time. Yeah, it's going to be like a chunk of change, but to get it back to where functional, I mean, it was more money than you'd want to spend, but
dealable.
It was dealable, and everything works, and we don't have a drippy ceiling.
Good.
But we are just going to leave the gaping hole in the ceiling for right now.
Yeah,
it's that little
patch thing, a little.
Yeah, a curtain. It's literally right in front of my detolfs, which is what sucks.
Yeah.
Watched some movies, I think mostly on Netflix. I'm not 100%.
I canceled that.
There's one. It's called Apollo 10 and a half. It's animated. It's almost like 2 different films. It's a story of these kids growing up in the 60s in Houston, where they basically built Houston around the space program. And then the other story that's kind of told inside of it is, for the Apollo 11 launch, they built the lander too small, and they had to send a kid up in it as a test, apparently. It's obviously fiction.
Right.
That part is. And this kid goes to the moon. And what's crazy is, like, the moon landing's coming on TV, and his dad works for NASA, and is like, come on, let's all watch. And the kid, like, falls asleep because he's like, been there, done that kind of deal. But he can't tell, and his parents don't even know he did it. But it's just a real, like... even Kelly and I watching it was like, telling stories about growing up, before the internet and stuff. It was a very charming little show. Watched another animated one called Mitchell's versus the Machines. I don't remember all the plot details about it. It's almost like I watched Batman or something. But it was really good. It was very well done. The character development was good. There's some really touching scenes in that as well. Watched randomly, not because it was on TV or something, but we were flipping through, and motherfucking Dodgeball is on HBO Max right now.
It's great.
So we watched that. The movie would never get made today.
My favorite joke in that is like not a huge one, but I love it when she's like, that lady comes in to like help organize his shit, or she's coming to like audit him.
Yeah.
Right. Initially.
Yeah.
And she's like, can I have access to your files? And he's like, oh yeah. And he like opens up like the closet. It's like tons of boxes all kind of disheveled and thrown about in the fucking closet. And she's like, this is all yours? He's like, oh yeah. This is what I call the keepers.
Yeah. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Oh my God.
There's a ton of great lines in that movie.
There's a ton of great lines in that movie. That's one of those ones you can't pass. You just like, okay.
Yeah.
I tried to watch another movie after that. It's called Your Highness. I think it's probably about 10 years old. It's got James Franco in it.
Danny McBride in that?
Danny McBride. I couldn't get through it, man.
No.
I never seen it.
It was not my wife. I think my wife might have finished it, but I could not get through it. It was very bad.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. We've talked about paints a lot on here, painting things, and I mostly use the Walmart paints or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been doing a little bit of like customizing stuff here and there, not much, but I bought some Citadel paints.
This shit's different.
Man,
That's just different.
It's like it doesn't even make sense.
I know. That's just different.
Like, what is in this that makes it so? I mean, obviously, this little pot is like $5-6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of $1 for 4 times as much. But
it's different.
I know the contrast paint.
I've never used that, but I remember Adam bragging about it.
So,
like, I'm not bragging about it, but like boasting about it.
Just give you an example. I had this character head, and the character had like gray hair, and I put this contrast paint on it, and now he's got like dark hair with fucking highlights.
Right.
It's fucking mind blowing. I don't understand how it works. I'm sure it's something to do with pigment settling places, and I'm sure someone will write in and tell me how it works. But let's see here. Need a little moment of silence. Because our Keurig died.
Oh, no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now you get an espresso, man.
We already got a new Keurig coming.
We can we'll take a break after his. I'm
getting there. I'm getting there. So my entire family, minus me, is going to. I believe it's called Otakon this weekend.
Yes.
Comic.
Ill Will's going also.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So they're all cosplaying. I was helping.
What is Otakon?
It's like a Japanese animation convention.
An anime convention. So everybody but me in my house is obsessed with Japanese manga, which is the comic books essentially, and the shows, my wife included. She loves it all. My oldest is going. There's a character called Chainsaw Man who has a chainsaw that comes out of his head. So he and I built a chainsaw blade on a bracket, and then I'll show. I didn't post this publicly. I was going to show Gary how it works. So let me get back to it.
It works?
No. No. So it mounts to his head on a head strap for like a headlight, a lamp, and he's got a wig that covers it, and it works. Amazing. But we did that in like I don't know 3 hours. He seemed pretty amazed by it.
Nice.
Thought it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I have the weekend by myself. It's going to be amazing. Let's see. Set it up and I didn't even know till it happened, but I had some display at SDCC this week.
Oh, nice.
So Mezco reused some of the stuff from the toy fair from 2020, which seems like 12 years ago now. But yeah, so it's cool that stuff still exists.
Yeah.
I didn't know what really happened to it after they got done with it.
They didn't have the most exciting reveal.
I was kind of disappointed by their stuff. But I don't know, man. My head's in a different space right now anyways.
Right.
Like, I have so much of their shit that I buy it.
Right.
Almost out of habit at this point.
Right.
Which is a horrible habit to have. And I wanted to say this because I don't think I talked about this on the show. You were talking about, and we talked to you for a minute.
Yeah.
So my job, I work with obviously my peers, but we work with a lot of different people and different businesses. And a district manager for one of the companies we work for had gotten to me through the grapevine that he wasn't happy about the way I was doing something in particular. He didn't bring it to me. He brought it up in a group setting without me there. Mm-hmm. So I'm in Jersey, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and I know this guy's going to be there. So his name's Chris. Unbelievable. Hey, Chris, you mind go outside with me for a sec? Sure. Now, I know I'm 7 feet tall. Mm-hmm. I'm fully aware of that. Mm-hmm. So whenever I'm having any kind of conversation with somebody that I don't want it to be that kind of conversation, I'm probably a step or two back further than the normal person would, because I know my size can be intimidating. Mm-hmm. And that was not what I was trying to accomplish.
Sure.
So I was just like, hey man, are we cool? Yeah, why? Well, I heard through the grapevine you weren't happy about how I'm doing ABCD. Oh, well, it just seems to be taking so long. Well, let me tell you why. And I broke down the 12 reasons why it's taking so long. Okay, man. Well, yeah, I just didn't know that. If you have a problem, Chris, call me. Don't send me a message or a text. Call me if we have a problem. And I'd love to address that with you.
Right. Straight up.
So are we cool? Yeah, man, we're cool. Awesome. I told my boss even about that. My boss was like, hell yeah. That's the way
I mean, I've had problems at work. Not many, thank God, but I've 3. And each one of them, I was like, hey man,
just go straight to the
I got to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, and then now all 3 squashed. Yeah. Squashed, you know?
Yep.
It's just the best way to handle business.
But hopefully I'll be around for a bit.
Hopefully, fingers
crossed.
Like
my travel, I'm actually doing some different work.
It's been rough. I've been bouncing into people like just randomly where I'm like, hey man, where do you live? You know, and they're like, oh, no. I'm like, would you be interested in coming on? Oh, dude, yeah, fucking love to. And I'm like, okay, I'm putting you on the list, just so you know.
I forgot a key part. So the repair guys that were there yesterday, one of them starts, we're talking, and most people that come in my place, you know,
Right,
probably the same, oh man, I love everything, this, that, and the other. When I was a kid, I watched this.
Right.
Or it seems to be lately, the younger people are like, oh, I love anime too. Let me talk to you about you.
Yeah.
Well, me and Mason are in the workshop working on something, and he's doing something with the well. He's like, man, I love all that Star Wars stuff. Yeah, I love Star Wars, man. We were listening to the Darth Plagueis book on the car. I'm like, what? Really?
Oh, you're in.
And he's like naming all these like deep cut characters. I'm like, bro, you're deep in it. I said, what do you collect? And he's like, well, I haven't started yet. I'm waiting to get my place set up. We're moving to a bigger space, and then it's on. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just so random that
Yeah. It's cool, though.
everybody's a little into the nerd stuff now.
It is.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Release. Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, that was the guy.
And instead of Dodge, it said like dope man. It would have been hilarious that she would have been wearing something like that at a Little League game and thought she was wearing a Dodgers shirt.
Real quick before we take a break, are you wrapped up?
Yep, that's me. Best I can tell you.
Because you need another cup of coffee, right? Is that what you said?
I go for a cup of coffee.
Okay.
When he said cure, I go.
You guys, everybody's good on time because we got about another hour.
I'm good.
Okay. He said, speaking of Wiz Khalifa, just made me think, you know Jack Harlow? Have you heard of this guy?
Yep.
He's not my cup of tea. He's a rapper.
Okay.
But he has, you know who Dua Lipa is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I think I've scrolled to it once or twice.
I can tell by your expression that you do.
I think so.
So he's got a song called Dua Lipa. And on the song, which I do kind of like it, even though I'm not a fan necessarily of him, he was like, Dua Lipa, I want to do more with you than do a feature.
Seems on brand.
Yeah. All right, let's get a cup of coffee. So, news. We have actually a fair bit because the Marvel shit didn't hit from SDCC before we got into last week's show. So, all right. First of all, Judgment Day. You hear about not to get too involved in this, but you hear about this fucking robot that broke this kid's finger in Russia during a chess game? Like, this kid's playing chess against a robot. It's like a robot arm. It's just like an arm they can move chess pieces, right? And the kid makes his move, and then he goes to move again, or he goes to like adjust a piece or something, and the robot just fucking slams his fucking finger on the board and just keeps applying pressure and breaks his fucking kid's finger.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, like, you know, everyone saw Terminator. Keep building this shit.
I know.
Okay, what's the worst that could happen? Like, I fucking had it with all this shit. It's like, oh, really? That happened? Who saw that? I saw that movie 25 years ago.
I know.
You know.
I know. I agree.
They have ones that like get mad, like the the AIs that have
Google
like
one?
like
where it feels lonely and shit, and like that's scary shit.
And the one that starts like changing fucking like dude. Yeah, I've had it with fucking everybody. It's like it's fucking ridiculous.
It's true. Nice thing, this real quick, just because of what it is, this Transformers Earthspark show. Have you watched it? So it's awful. It's
just a children's show.
It's a children's show for sure.
Awful, or
it looks awful.
Oh, okay.
But like basically, like there's like 2 or 3 human characters, and they get suits that allow them to transform. Not too different from the fucking.
Is it live action? Or?
No. Not too different from the exosuits from Transformers the movie.
Okay.
Sort of in a style, in approach. But it seems like it's going to center around Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and these kids that transform into cars, and it's just not for me. I just want to put that. I mean, it's not made for me in the first place, but on top of that, it is also not for me.
They've had a whole line of figures and shows that are based upon a children's that's not on. I mean, I know it's there, but we never talk about it.
Right. Dungeons and Dragons.
I watched the trailer.
What did you think?
Looks fun.
It does look fun.
That's all that matters.
I'm definitely going to check it out because
it's got Pierce Brosnan in it.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, and then
James,
the female looks just like the one from the cartoon. I feel like in my head, anyway.
Oh yeah.
Wait, the Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon, when they go.
I think
when they go to the amusement park and they end up in is that
like the 80s one?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, well, I think this is somewhat based off. I
thought it was the game.
Really sure.
Well, I think it's both. No, because it is both, right? Like
I don't know.
I think it's all the same.
That cartoon when they go to the amusement park and they end up going down that.
I wish Joe was here. He would know.
Well, I mean, all the
that bad guy with that one.
I never watched it.
Dude, It was outrageous.
I never watched it either.
The 80s cartoon. I mean,
I'm familiar with it.
Put it into context. I was 10.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But it came on like there was like a run of amazing fucking cartoons in that. You know, my mother was a beautician, so she would have on Saturdays all the what is that?
Flex.
So all the women from the neighborhood would come on Saturdays and go into she would cut their hair and have a room set aside. So I had just full reign of the house. So I'd rip apart the freaking the sectional couch and
Build a fort.
Build forts and watch cartoons, and nobody would fucking bother me all day. And
so sounds like a dream. Can we do that today?
It was amazing. It was.
I'm gonna do that this weekend. I'm home alone this weekend.
For the listeners, Gary is not wearing headphones, which is fine. That's his choice.
Am I really loud?
No.
No, you sound good actually.
But he talks about his mother, and then I hit a button on the pad. What's that?
What are you doing there? It's like when you
What's that button say?
What's all it is?
It's like when you
say
see
whore, does it? Because it is fucking on.
It's like when you season my food without tasting. Like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, what's that about?
What's all this then?
That's a funny joke. I like to laugh.
I said my mother, so I just need to know.
So funny.
Anyway, so Dungeons and Dragons was
it looks good.
It was the cartoon was outrageous. This whole concept that these kids, they go to an amusement park and they end up going on this ride, and it takes them to this medieval times, and they all end up with these certain powers,
right?
It's.
I don't think this is that.
These are adults, but they kind of look.
This is set in what that world would be. And listen, that dungeon crawl, that kind of stuff, story wise, is super popular. Like my wife listens to a lot of books on Audible, and it's a lot of whatever. It's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons ish kind of stuff, kind of slice of life, but in those worlds, kind of stuff. So
Justice League was around that time, and freaking
what?
Justice
League? You mean
No.
Super Friends?
Super Friends.
Yeah.
The Whole of Justice, whatever the Whole of Justice.
Meanwhile, at the Whole of
Oh
Justice.
my god, amazing! I was totally fucking just
oh my god,
mesmerized.
Then there was
You never see a Wonder Twins movie,
and you probably won't.
Yeah, you probably won't.
Well, there's something close to the Wonder Twins in the Boy season 3.
Is that right? I remember one time, man, a couple of fucking my friends were fucking with me over something, man, and I was like, and they both like teamed up, and I'm like, Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of a dick.
Yeah.
And they got it. Yeah. They fucking, it just landed. I'm like, I forgot. Yeah, you got it. Cool. Yeah, because they would just come up with the weirdest shit. And what were they anyway? Was there ever any other Wonder Twins ever? Like,
I think they were aliens. They had pointed ears.
They had the pointed ears, and they fucking, they just turned into weird shit. And
I'm sure somebody will write in and tell us exactly.
Were they invented in that show, or was there a comic book? Because I've never seen.
I'm not an expert.
Heard of Wonder Twins other than
it's like the purple suits, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah. I only know them from that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Did they just make them up for that show?
I don't. I can see them existing prior to and like getting shoehorned in. Like,
they had a monkey too. Didn't they have a monkey?
One can hope.
They originally appeared in the TV show, in that Hanna-Barbera show, Super Friends.
Then there's this. There's speaking of dragons, the prequel for Game of Thrones trailer dropped. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
I did.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
Oh yeah, me too. So good. How about that?
Yeah.
We're about to be the Wonder Twins. but I thought the trailer looked pretty good.
I mean, I don't think they're going to miss with this.
No, it looks pretty good.
And it's a prequel, so it isn't like they can.
It's going to be pretty much the same shit.
It's going to be the same shit.
Dragons and killing and dicks and
they don't. I mean, the thing that I think might even be better is they're not struggling to shoehorn a book that's not written into this story because he still hasn't finished those damn books.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, it kind of takes some of that pressure off from a storytelling standpoint.
True. But it looks fantastic.
It looks great,
like cinematic, and
it was crazy how like they were able to accomplish that. Like it was a series, but every movie was this, like you said, cinematic. Like it was a freaking artwork.
Yeah,
you know, and
I
you're
agree.
like, how the fuck did they do this every?
I agree.
I agree. I know that. It was so.
Like I think that show looks way better than anything that Marvel or Star Wars has produced in a show.
Yeah,
capacity.
Well, it's all set. That was all done. There wasn't any green screen that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the Marvel shows aren't done on green screen. Like Falcon Winter Soldier or WandaVision. Then there was, speaking of Marvel, way to segue, Chris.
Right off a cliff.
So I call it Shrek-Hulk. But has anybody seen the trailer for She-Hulk?
Yes.
Dude, the CGI looks awful.
It does.
It looks awful. It looks like Shrek. It looks like Shrek.
I would rather have Shrek.
Who, like the Shrek wife?
Yeah, but skinnier and more muscular. But like, it looks like that side of animation. But it's like supposed to be live action.
The only thing I could think of is that fucking China, the wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know the one.
So here's,
I'm not mad at you.
here's an interesting thought that came across my mind. Why did they pay to have all that Hulk CGI when he could have been Goofy
Banner.
Bruce Banner and probably conveyed the same thing?
Yeah.
Because it appears he's Hulk the whole time.
Yeah, but they both look bad.
I know. Well, the Hulk looks better than...
Oh, there's a Hulk. There's a male Hulk in that too?
Yeah,
It's like the Hulk.
The Hulk from the Marvel
Avengers.
stuff.
From, like...
Yeah, but it's a real person, though. It's not CGI.
No, it's CGI.
Oh, it is. Okay, but she's
right.
No, she's CGI also.
Well, what I'm saying is the model...
He's saying that they could have had...
They could have spent more on her CGI because
and
there's
kept
no
him
reason
as the scientist.
Okay.
instead of the Hulk the whole time. But from the way it looks to me, the Hulk looks fine because they've already paid for that model and they didn't have to redo anything other than.
So I think it looks better, and I think it's because I agree with you 100%. They already have the model, but the animation on it is still wonky.
Well, and it may just be I'm used to that, seeing that, and
but it looks worse to me because I'm used to seeing it. Like I know what it looks like when it looks good, and this looks.
I don't know anything about that storyline.
I don't either.
Anything about her whatsoever.
She's a lawyer. That's the main thing, and she does some lawyering for superheroes.
Civil War 2 is what I know her from mostly.
Yeah, and then
It's just like why do we need a She-Hulk? Like one Hulk wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I think really I think it's just.
She was on the cover of Marvel Illustrated a long time ago.
Yeah, I do remember that. I think it's about just kind of doing things now.
That's what I mean. Like we're running out of ideas.
So, two funny things in there.
It's also about like changing the because that dude's not going to stick around forever. I think it's about like passing the torch. Also.
That's what it is.
We need a Hulk character because his contract is going to run out.
Mark Ruffalo's so busy.
Yeah.
He says, who's your best friend? And she says, you. He says, no, spandex. And then there's another line when they're like, something's happened and everybody's looking at her like, are you going to fix this? And she's like, I really like this suit. And then she has to do so it'll be a very quippy kind of.
What do you think about her breaking the fourth wall?
She talks to us.
I don't know. It's fine.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
It's very hard to do.
Deadpool should be the only one.
Okay.
That's what makes him special. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I'm hoping, because they show her like going live.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that she's doing, like she's filming something and she's like looking at the camera and it's not looking at the audience. Like,
right. I see what you mean.
I hope, because I don't like it at all. I don't like that.
You don't want a talking heads thing like in The Office where they go when Jim talks about. You don't want like that.
Not
Office style.
I like that.
Yeah.
But even that, they're talking to the camera and the filmmakers, knowing it's going to be a show. They're not talking directly to the people at home.
Right.
That's what
I just picked up on that like a couple of weeks ago because I never watched that show religiously, but I started. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Did you watch the American or the British version?
The American. I always wanted to watch the Gervais one. It's better. I'm sure it's Ricky Gervais. I mean,
it's only like 4 episodes.
Right. I remember one episode where I saw one part when the girl said something snicky. He's like, so you always talk like that to people? Like, and I can't do an accent, but he's like, does that work for you? Whatever. And he just really demolished her because she just got nasty with him for no reason, and it was fucking amazing. Love that guy.
But and I think that's all I got for that. Next, Wakanda Forever trailer. Did you see it? It looks great.
It looks great.
It looks great.
It looks like it's going to be...
this is the first thing that Marvel has done in some time that looks good to me.
Yeah.
Namor is going to be the villain.
Which one was he?
He's the fish guy.
Submariner, like the Aquaman of Marvel.
Oh, it wasn't anyone from the first?
No.
Who is Black Panther? Is it his brother?
They haven't really said yet.
They haven't said.
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Shuri. And the only reason, his sister,
okay.
The only reason why I'm guessing that is because this film seems very female oriented.
Yeah.
They have, like the Queen stepped back up and took the mantle of the Queen again now that Black Panther's gone, which I think is the right choice.
Yep.
They could have given it to a number of different people, including Shuri, and I think that would have been the wrong choice. I love that she, Angela Bassett.
Yep.
I love that she stepped back up like fucking, even a time of pain. it's got to be me. It can't be anybody else. And I thought it was the perfect choice. I'm guessing that scene where they're all in white is the funeral for T'Challa, is my guess.
It's going to be a hard watch, man. I think the first like 30 minutes of that's going to be pretty emotional.
But yeah, they showed like the birth of. They have a pregnant woman that looks like she's Wakandian. I'm not sure what it is, but so I'm hoping that I'm hoping that he has an heir.
Okay.
But like. They also show Namor like being born in the sea, and like I think this movie has the potential to be something great.
I think this may be the spark that
because I think Marvel makes a lot of average ass movies.
Yeah,
honestly.
but that was one of the great ones.
I think it's average.
You didn't like the original?
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Yeah, I got.
I think it's average. I think
I'm about with Bobby on it. After all, I enjoy watching it, but it's not my favorite.
See, I knew nothing about the character. Like I said, the other ones, like I'll watch the
right.
So when I watch the movie, I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it just seemed like all the rest of the fucking Marvel movies, like you end up fighting like the good Black Panther fought the bad Black Panther.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting how it was just.
I'm not saying it's not interesting.
How it was just it wasn't like he's the Black Panther. Like he filled a role that's a title that he just. I thought that was really cool. Like it was. There were multiple Black Panthers and they take different. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I did too.
So and then someone else could become that if you lose a fight and whatever.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
And I'm hoping it's. I'm not hoping it's Shuri. I don't really care as long as it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I did hit up E.M. Tyler and asked him what he thought because he was a huge Black Panther fan. And he's in love with it. He's already in love with it. We exchanged some ideas. He actually caught something that I didn't catch, and because they show the Wakanda pregnancy, and then they cut to the birth of Namor, and in my head I just said this is all the same thing. But he was like, no, if you look on his feet, he's got little wings, and I was like, oh, okay.
Because they help you swim so much.
Yeah. But I think Namor looks perfect. I think like
it's an interesting take on the character,
dude. I love the idea of
Who's Namor.
Submariner, the Aquaman.
It's like he's they've made him a Pacific.
He wore like a little green bathing suit, and that was it
for the long time. It was kind of creepy.
He's a good guy, but he often is a villain. Like he's been a villain to the Fantastic Four. He was a villain to Black Panther. And then him and Black Panther have a very strange relationship for like.
And then isn't Namor part of the Illuminati at some point?
Yeah, where they're like. It's almost Superman, Batman-y, where like they respect each other, but they don't quite trust each other, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll never get that because
and it looks like they're going for like a Pacific Islander look for the
and I think it makes total sense,
great sense.
And they also said like oh no, not that they said, but watching it, like water is such a part of it. Like waves are crashing into this. There's fire in the water. There's all this stuff, and it is interesting, right? Like with water being like kind of the metaphor for life. You know what I mean? Like without water, there's no life. And then, but yet, like for these folks who have already endured the loss of their king, now death is coming from the water. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's all working for me. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I hope it doesn't let me down.
It's odd because cats hate water.
That too, dude. And Marvel's future. So I didn't know if you wanted thoughts on this. So they showed the
I have
timeline.
Some quick thoughts on the timeline.
So let's start with Phase 4, or you want to say a quick overview?
Just quick. I'm not going to keep up with this shit anymore. If it comes out, I'm going to go see it. I'm not going to. I mean, let's go through it, obviously, because there is a lot of good stuff, but like
in a podcast,
it was almost but it was. You look at that, you're like, I don't even want to dig into this because there's so much. It's like 5 years of plans you're laying out.
So there's only one movie that remains for Phase 4, and that's Wakanda Forever.
Okay, and then we're Phase 5.
But what's interesting to me about that? This would be the first phase without an Avengers movie.
Well, you're right.
That seems weird to me.
Well, they got to build an Avengers team now.
Because it seems like every movie kind of not necessarily ends, but kind of climaxes, so to speak, for lack of a better term. But like, with some sort of major event.
Yeah.
And this doesn't really have it. But it kind of speaks to.
Well, let's see what happens in this Wakanda movie.
Yeah. Phase 5, we're getting Ant-Man and Wasp 3.
Yes.
Don't care. Don't give a shit. We're getting a Marvel show, Secret Invasion. which seems weird to me. Like, that seems like the event that should happen at the end of Phase 4.
That also seems like it could be is it like live action? Because that seems like it could be an animated. 'Cause Secret Invasion is the Krulls, right? Skrulls. I don't know.
Blade anywhere in there?
Yes. Hold on. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay.
James Gunn back on it.
Yep.
Echo, I don't even know what that is.
So Echo was the bad guy in Winter Soldier TV show.
Oh, okay.
The girl.
Okay.
No. Hang on. I'm wrong. Hawkeye, the deaf girl.
Oh.
That's Echo. That was the villain that was like Wilson Fisk's stepdaughter, kind of, sort of.
Oh, okay.
I know it's all kind of blurry.
I'm not really excited about that.
Yeah.
How was that whole dare? Oh, go ahead. I'll ask you later.
We skipped over something. That person that shows up at the end of the She-Hulk trailer with, a blind guy with 2 sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about him. I want to see him cinematically.
I got you.
Because we're going to talk about him here just shortly. Loki season 2, I don't care. Me personally, the Marvels, I don't care. Blade is then after that, and then
like what year are we talking about for Blade?
So let's see. Blade is 2023, so next year.
So is that a reboot or?
Yes.
Yeah. I actually watched.
I love the first Blades, man.
I like the second
They
one.
were on TV the other day when I was doing something, and I had them on in the background. I mean, they're entertaining. Even the one with Triple H and the dog and all that.
Chris Christopherson was great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, Wesley Snipes. I love those movies, man.
Then there's an Ironheart show. I don't care, I'll be honest. Then there's an Agatha show. I don't care. Then there's Daredevil Born Again, which is another show. And so Daredevil Born Again was a book also. But I'll tell you what I don't like about it. And I didn't like it about the book, and I don't like it about this already. But there's obviously like this Catholic connection to that character, right?
Hell's Kitchen, Irish Catholic, all that.
100%. He fucking goes to seek forgiveness and shit. Like, he confesses on a regular. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's the middle of Hell's Kitchen.
But being born again is a Protestant thing, and I just don't like. I just don't like it. It just seems like somebody oversaturated the sauce with something.
Oh, is that what it is? So Born Again is a Christianity part of it? It's not just like they're rebooting it named.
Well, it's going to be both, right? Like, it's like this, it's a triple entendre. There's like, you know what I mean? It's like all of those things are factoring in. I think the title makes sense in that regard, but it's just like, it's also tied. I mean, being born again is like the thing.
Yeah, but that's not a real.
Maybe Matt Murdock ends up in Kansas City for some reason, and he stumbles into a church not knowing what kind it is.
That being said, they say it's going to be like
18 episodes.
Yeah, like a long ass show.
Is it the same character?
Yeah,
same actor, Matt Charlie Cox.
How was the first? I never finished the first series.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I love the first season.
Yeah, the second season might be one of the best comic book TV seasons.
Yeah, the second season was better
when
than
the Punisher
first.
Comes in.
I didn't see that. How many seasons were there?
2
seasons.
They were both good. Yeah,
and then it went into Luke Cage.
No, Punisher was great.
Okay,
you saw that?
No,
that was great.
Yeah, it's on
that dude's cool.
It's on Disney Plus now.
And then the rest of it's kind of average to terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for the Netflix stuff. Like, what was it? The Defenders was
awful.
Probably the 6 hours I'll never get back in my life.
Awful.
There's a dragon in New York City that they never mentioned again. I don't know if you
Dude, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so bad.
They found his bones.
Let me find out. If I find out that you have ever seen that show and not seen the Snyder Cut, we're going to have a very long talk.
What show?
The Defenders.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah. That's okay.
Do yourself a favor.
But what about like Luke Cage and stuff? Isn't he part of that world too?
Yeah, he's a Defender. So is Daredevil.
Oh, he's a Defender. Okay. So that's
yeah.
what that is. It's not called Luke Cage.
No. It's Daredevil season 1, Daredevil season 2, Punisher season 1, Punisher season 2, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones season 1, Jessica Jones season 2, and then the Defenders, which is all of them as a group.
Holy shit.
Yeah, except for the Punisher.
Okay.
And then there's Captain America, a movie, New World Order. And that is the
Let me tell you something, brother.
NWO.
The NWO.
And that is the end of Phase 5, still without an Avengers movie. And then there's Phase 6, which only has 3 announcements so far. Fantastic Four, that's in 2024. Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, which is 2025. And then another Avengers movie the same year, Secret Wars.
So they're looking at like 6 hours of Avengers movies that year. Is John Krasinski playing Mr. Fantastic? Did they? Because it seems like
I don't think they've announced.
Well, it seems his pictures are all over everything, and it may just be because he did that.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about any of this. I'll be honest. Like I nothing about the only thing that excites me is Secret Wars. And they got a lot of work to do. To make that work for me. And then the last note is a little note I like to call X-Forced.
Oh.
Which is really it was a talk about, and I erased the link by accident. Fuck. But it was basically about how, due to some situation regarding contractual rights with the Fox X-Men movie producers, Marvel cannot introduce the X-Men until 2025.
Right, unless they use those actors.
Yes. So that's why they could use Charles X, whatever. So that makes sense that Phase 6, which would be another big event, another 3 phases, would end in 2025 to start introducing the X-Men for the next phase, which I am on board with.
Yeah.
So I think that is ultimately optimistic, if not great news for the next couple years.
Well, we get a lot of toys out of that.
Yeah. I mean, I've already started thinking, like, what do I do with Hot Toys of those characters if I like them?
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother conversation, really.
Yep.
And then we have a couple questions, and not too many. Andy M. He says, "What's up, Ragers? Toy Story is real. All your figures and collectibles come to life. Which product line or faction comes out on top? Thanks, guys. Take care." I mean, I'll give you the easy answer. It's simple. I have about 18,000 Batman figures. I mean, the whole rest of the collection's fucked.
Right. If they can sentiently,
it's a game over.
I was going to either say your horror shelf or the Real Metal Claws Crazy Toys Wolverine, because he's got real metal claws.
That's true.
Carnage looks dangerous.
I got that for free.
Really?
Yeah. Byerly. Byerly's wife works for Diamond. And they used to just get stuff that they couldn't move or whatever. And she was like, "I don't want this. Do you know anybody that want this?" And he was like, "I know a guy." And there it is.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I got. Batman. And I think that Crazy Toys Wolverine's good too. And then we have Kevin S. He says, "Obi-Wan's biggest flaw: the show, not the character." What's up, shitbirds? I want to talk. No need to get personal. Am I right? I want to talk about something that I don't see get enough shit from the Obi-Wan show. I think it's easily the show's biggest missed opportunity. I want to preface this by saying I hate the prequels. I think they're unwatchable.
We're done here.
They're trash movies for trash people with trash taste. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. I strongly disagree.
Well, I'm a trash panda today, buddy.
And actually, I think that episode 6 is far worse than episode 3. However, even as a person who hates the prequels, I can recognize the fans of them were done dirty in this last episode. Having Qui-Gon show up in the final seconds only to give Obi-Wan shit for being late is a slap in the face. I could have happily lived my life without ever seeing this boring-ass character again, but wouldn't it have been fascinating to see him and Obi-Wan have a conversation about Anakin and the fallout from Qui-Gon? Yeah, well, and I think Qui-Gon should have showed up at the fight. That's my personal feelings. Qui-Gon should have showed up at the brawl, the Anakin Obi-Wan brawl. As a ghost, he should have showed up right then and there.
Watched.
Yeah, I think my personal feelings is that he should have interacted, not in the fighting capacity, but I'm retreading a bit. But like in episode 3, Yoda is having visions of the future, and he hears Qui-Gon yell, "Anakin, no!" But then he's like, the future's always kind of in motion. You can't really lock it down. It could be this. It could not be that. And then, obviously, you don't see Qui-Gon ever scream Anakin no in episode 3, but it's kind of alluded to that's how he's screaming from the spirit world as he sees the stuff go down. But what if it was this part of the future? And when Anakin or when Vader is about to kill Obi-Wan in that last episode, then Qui-Gon, Anakin, no. And that's what saves Obi-Wan.
Full circle.
Yeah. And then there's like a moment or something. To me, that would have been far more powerful.
It would have been great.
Well, I think season 2 can be the desert hobo and the ghost.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan season 2.
It's like
the hobo and the ghost.
It's like Desert Hobo and the Ghost.
Obi-Wan turn around like, oh, there's the asshole starter of this shit. Good job.
Something weird happens, and Obi-Wan turns around, and Qui-Gon's back there, and he does his hands out, shrugs shoulders, and the Curb Your Enthusiasm music plays.
Wow.
Totally off subject. Someone has taken episodes of The Sopranos and cut them and laugh track them like a fucking comedy, and it is great.
I hate it. I hate it already.
Okay.
I hate it already. I don't like goofy shit, like in general. Like it's a super turn off. I know. I'm sorry. Like I bring enough goof for everybody. Like I want to be funny in real life and be serious in media.
All right, put your helmet on and read the next question. All right, buddy.
Like the Saint, like the Newark
I still
Saints.
haven't watched it.
Oh, don't.
I heard it.
Oh my god,
trashed it.
Worst thing ever made.
The entire Jedi Order was destroyed and billions, if not trillions of people died over the course of 9 mainline movies, arguably because of Qui-Gon. So maybe save your bitchy you're late and start with the I'm sorry next time, Qui-Gon, you dead bitch.
Jesus.
Have a good one. I agree with that.
That was for me.
That's my alias, my pseudonym.
Did you say Sudafed?
And then Billings wrote in. He said, wealth. Hey, gang, I was just curious, in your youth, what's something you associated with wealth or something that a well-off person had in their homes that once you got older realized was no big deal? Mine was a knife block full of variety of knives in the kitchen. I grew up in a single-wide trailer, and we just didn't have that kind of counter space to spare. Oh, dude, Oh, man.
Did he say a house trailer?
Yeah.
Because that's what it's called, a house trailer.
Nor did we have more than maybe 2 big knives in the kitchen drawer. As a kid, I just knew that we were at a rich person's house when I could see the knife block on the countertop. Thanks for the laughs. Love, peace, and titty grease. I'm trying to think, like, my first thought of this was, like, when I saw guys with jewelry, like, I used to think, wow, these guys got money. You know, they got so, in my head, I think my childhood head, I was like, they got so much money that the women have enough jewelry and the men have started getting it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like kind of like my mindset. I used to think that, like, people with, like, surround sound,
yep.
you know, like I was like, holy shit, like so-and-so's dad bought a surround sound and he wants to show me the first 5 minutes of Top Gun again. You know, but
what movie do you put on to show off your sound system?
Dude, it was all, everybody used to play Top Gun, I feel like. And then there was like Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. It was like another one. Like,
yeah. We skipped to chapter 4 in the Blu-ray or the DVD.
Yeah. Dude,
I'll say mine is I guess it was always just like a big screen TV. I mean, we had a TV. It was a wooden box that got the signal or whatever. But I remember one time I was with a friend. We were going to somebody else's house to pick something up, and this dude had it was a nice apartment in a nice complex, and he had the the leather sectional and the big screen, and there were a lot of people about. Get back in the car with my buddy. I'm like, man, that guy looks like he's doing pretty good. And my buddy said, man, that shit's all rent to own. Like, oh, you paying $79 a week for that TV for the rest of your life? Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing that like I used to kind of associate with success, not necessarily wealth, but just like people that had their shit together. Was like when I would bump into somebody who had both parents. I know that sounds nuts, but like...
Yeah, because it's quite the opposite. When they stay together, they fuck everybody up.
Yeah. Marilyn Manson once said, he was like, I grew up with both parents, so I had a super dysfunctional upbringing. But like, everybody in my neighborhood, like that I knew, had just a mom, and then I had just a dad. And like, I never had any concept of like parents, like, Clarence parents, for instance.
They had a real good marriage.
They had a real good marriage. But like, I had no concept of it. And then like,
the best line.
When I met Laura, not that she was the first person that I ever met with it, but like, I got to really watch a family dynamic where like both parents were together. Because I like Adam's parents were together when I met him, and there was a couple other people I ended up meeting that had both parents, but it was rare. Yeah, I feel like children of the 80s, it was very rare to have that dynamic. But Laura's family was the first family I got to really like watch. And I remember like having a conversation with somebody and they're like, well, do you notice anything about it? And I was like, dude, it's kind of really like The Simpsons. Like the son, like even though even though some of the things that he does may not be bad, it's kind of seen as mischievous instead of bad. The daughter's kind of held to a higher standard. She has one sister that plays a goddamn saxophone. The father's not really like, he's a good guy.
Does he work at the nuclear plant?
He doesn't work at the nuclear.
Donuts?
He doesn't work at the nuclear plant, but he's not really like required to partake in the upbringing. He's kind of required to partake in like the things that have to get done around the house, and then like, you know, being there at dinner. Do you know what I mean? And then the mother kind of takes care of like the house duties and that kind of stuff. Like, I was like, that's all I could think about was like, wow, I wonder if families operate like The Simpsons, because I had no concept. My dad cooked, cleaned, he had to do it all, right? And never had a happy Mother's Day. You know, like some of these women are out there fucking. But that's a side note. But like, you know, it's just it just struck me as so bizarre. You know, I don't know.
Well, first time I saw a house trailer with underpinning in it, I was like, boy, they're living high on the hog. They're living high on the hog in Green Acres.
Did you have any thing that you associated with wealth as a kid that you were like, wow, like they got it? So-and-so is really living their best life.
Well, the end of the question is not a big deal now. So I still think a built-in pool is a big deal. So I've been planning for one for years, and it's never going to happen.
You know what's funny is, you know what I love to do? I got a buddy of mine, McGonigal, and he's got a in-ground pool.
Oh,
right. But he's from like the rural sticks of Pennsylvania, where there's like, I mean, they haven't got internet yet. It's fucked up out there,
Pennsylvania.
And every time he talks about his pool, I'm around, I always say like, and you can't even tell it's above ground. Like he's built this whole deck around it, and he's like, it's in ground. And I'm like, in ground. I just kind of give quotation marks, like bunny ears to the other person around me, and I know it's in ground, but I just fuck with them to say it's above ground just because it drives them nuts. Because it's like. You know. And
we had one of those growing. We had a dugout built pool that was, you know, I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, it was a full. My parents sold my house last year that I grew up in. He put that freaking thing in like 1984, and he was one of the first people I ever seen in it. He had a roofing business, so he had people come over. He dug out the fucking backyard. I mean, he dug it out,
right?
Like it looked like something out of Indiana Jones, like
right.
And he dropped a freaking an oval fucking pool in it, and he put a retaining wall, and he had like 3 feet off the side, and that thing is still standing strong right now. And fucking, I don't know if it was really.
I was wondering why my above ground pool joke wasn't landing.
I'll tell you,
I wasn't sure. I drifted off. I wasn't.
Well,
is that what it was? Was it a sunken one? Like,
no. He was just busting balls.
Yeah, I had the fake.
Yeah, but I just always joke
so
with
my,
him.
My parents had an above ground pool. I mean, and my dad literally tore it down this summer. Okay. Because the only reason they had been keeping it open.
Damn, you both have.
Was,
here I am.
Was
I'm the
asshole. Was for my kids to come swimming. You know, they're down there. Maybe I said, don't keep a freaking pool up all year for them to possibly swim once. Because my parents, I think my dad has been in that pool. You probably count on your hands, right? Because he doesn't like, and my mom doesn't know how to swim. So they don't get in the pool without somebody else there. So I will tell you,
is it deep? Is it not?
It's got a drop.
Oh,
yeah, it goes like
so
seven and a half.
4 foot regular pool.
They wanted to do that because they knew we would be dumbasses and jump in it, and we did. And
cracked our head. I
did see something funny. Some stand-up comedian was talking about, you know, he said the epitome of white trash is an above ground pool, and he said, I just went ahead and he said, I put mine in the front yard. That way people know there ain't shit worth stealing inside.
Yeah. Another, I guess a boat would be one too, I guess, but.
Yeah, but that shit is hard to get.
Oh yeah, and that's like the end of the question kind of threw me off because the shit I thought was impressive
actually ended up being. So that's it. That's it for today. Gary, thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
We do have one little thing to do. Speaking of questions.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
And speaking of which, shout outs to the rest of the Cool Table. If you listen to this, as far as I'm concerned, you're part of the Cool Table too. And shout out to the rest of the Nerve Rage team, including the Velocithirster.
Yes.
Who saw this picture on the internet of this young lady in black, blonde lady.
Okay.
And her @ is @Brio LeBlanc 7, and it said, "What's your favorite Black Sabbath tune?" And no, he just answered that. Shit, sorry. I thought it was going to be some thirst shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Just say you said something about you can bite the head off my bat any day. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's another one. Gracie the cosplay lass. Sorry.
Just stop beating around the bush.
Freudian. She said she's an 8, but she turns to stone during the day. And he replied, an 8? Gracie cosplay is always a 10. Mind blown. Fire emoji. Fire emoji.
Way to go, Phil.
And shout out to Raul on Instagram. Shout out to Dante on Facebook. Shout out to Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos. And shout out to everybody else working behind the scenes. And shout out, hopefully, next week, Joe will be back and we can have the band back together. It's been almost a month that we've been apart. So I also want to shout out everybody that's come through, yourself included, Gary, for help keep the show going.
Yes, thank you. It's been a cruel summer, Bobby.
It has been.
It's not over yet.
It's been a real bananarama, am I right?
Oh, look at this guy.
But anyway.
Yeah, only playing the hits.
So we have to do an adjective and a body part to get out of here. And you got to lead off.
Why do I got to lead off?
Because you're in that seat. You're in the lead off seat.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Hungry feet. Does that make sense? Is that an adjective?
It's fine.
That might be the most bizarre one I've ever had. I'll follow it up with tasty taint.
I declare.